Okay, here we go. Thanks. Sorry. So, hi everyone. I'm Foxglovelass, and I'm joined today by JimmyTheHand. Callum, hi. Thanks for coming. Callum, can
I'm
you
here.
hear me? Okay, good.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry, just a
I'll
little
I'll turn this
neurotic.
down.
Um, okay. So we're going to be covering the Spellslinger Syndicate Explorer Tournament, which ran last week for a few days. Originally, we hoped to do it in a single day and do commentary for that whole day. But unfortunately, because of load shedding, we had to postpone it to take place over several days. And our players very kindly sent in some recordings of their matches, and so we're going to just go through some of those, see what the tournament was like, showcase some of the decks that came to play in the Explorer tournaments. Yeah, we hope that you enjoy. I've also really wanted to do some shoutcasting with Callum for a while now. I was very impressed with how you did the RCQ commentary. How did you find that experience?
Did you were you by any chance watching Pioneer semi-final
I think I
when I
was.
when I got frustrated with
Yes,
uh
I do. I was actually there for that one. I was as we were driving home.
it's Pioneer and it was obvious, and we know a lot of the players were very good players, but they just weren't used. They hadn't actually seen, to be honest, a lot of them hadn't seen the Pioneer format at all. So um as even some of the finalists were saying, they were reading cards during the event, trying to figure out what did what. So
Yeah, it was the mono
it was,
green
yeah,
showdown, wasn't it?
the mono green matchup was frustrating to to watch, to
Yeah,
say the least.
because I know that's one of your decks, and it was
Yeah,
something I was
yeah,
asking you about before the tournament because I knew it was going to be a very popular deck, and I was going to be judging that weekend, and that was pretty cool as well. It's kind of sad not to be in the booth with you, but yeah, it was a lot of fun doing both things.
yeah, yeah.
Overall, how did you find the experience of commentating?
It was lots of fun here. It's the first time I've actually done a event like that, and it I mean, I really enjoyed the dynamic that I had with it. Was fun with Crispin, having
Mm,
like one analyst and one hype kind of person,
yeah,
and the thing really worked well.
yeah.
Um,
I do think that's the traditional format, and I've also enjoyed working with Crispin for the same reason. It's very dynamic. I see Zoe's in chat. Thanks so much for confirming everything's working. I'm sorry, the setup I've got running is very kind of slapped together thing because I'm in Pretoria currently doing this remotely, but it's yeah, I hope that it works out. And Badger, yeah, you're definitely not watching the stream. We will inform your boss that this is not a magic stream because there's no magic playing. Speaking of, shall we just head into it with round one?
yeah. You have just so everyone knows, it says Rakdos Midrange. I'm playing Greasefang at the bottom. Abzan.
Yeah. So maybe just some initial notes about the tournament. We had 4 rounds of Swiss, 14 players, and then we had a top eight because we had some sweet prizes, some cash prizes for first and second place, and then a bunch of new Capenna set boosters, and some shiny Shardless agents for most of the players. So I was quite kind of surprised in one way and also not that Rakdos Midrange was so represented in this tournament. We had 6 of the 14 players on Rakdos Midrange.
Like high conversion rate as well.
Yeah, and like most of them made top eight, so
Yeah.
that was pretty interesting to see. It is obviously the boogeyman of the formats, but uh, the last EGG Explorer tournaments, we kind of predicted this, and then it just didn't happen.
Seemed people wanted to be a lot more competitive with this one.
Right?
I think the EGG event, people like to take a bit of a more fun, casual approach, and I think you attracted a bit more of a competitive crowd. That's a good thing for you.
Well, I hope so. Yeah, I mean, we want to continue these things as well, so we will, like, a bit of a teaser, I suppose, be looking for doing another competitive tournament on Arena next month, and there may be some Japanese Strixhaven boosters involved, and a Mystical Archive Lightning Bolt playmat. Um, I just need to confirm that that'll be for next month, or maybe we'll shift that to December. But coming up soon, we will have some cool Strixhaven Mystic Archive stuff. Okay, so let's begin with round one. And yeah, as you've said, Callum, you yourself are in this one.
Yeah, yeah, I'm on Abzan Greasefang.
So
Um,
how are you finding that deck? Because it's a pet favorite of mine in Pioneer. I haven't played a lot of it in Explorer.
enough. I just picked it up for this event. Um, up till this event, I was playing Incarnation, and then Incarnation was beating every other deck except
Mm,
Greasefang, and then I was like, okay, let me try Greasefang, and I enjoyed it, so I switched to Greasefang for this just to have some fun. I wish I had played a little bit more Greasefang before, because knowing what I know now, I would have done much better on the tournament.
oh really?
I've learned the black red matchup is is very different to what I thought it was.
Yeah, I kind of get that as well. Even with spirits, like I thought the black red matchup was pretty easy, but you have to play in a very different playstyle.
You side out entirely out of Greasefang.
Okay.
So you side out of Parhelia and you side out of Can't Stay Away. You side out all of the graveyard stuff. Bring in 3 Shaper's Sanctuaries and you just play mid-range plan and they can't beat you.
Shaper's Sanctuary, that's tech.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you won't see it on anyone else's list. Here,
Oh really?
this is your guys' tech for everyone in the stream.
Good to hear.
Play
Good to hear.
Shaper's Sanctuary
So you've got some,
and play mid-range plan. You just win the game.
you've got some interesting stuff happening in the game so far. We've got two werewolf pack leaders on opponent's side of the field, and you've got your seasoned Hallowblade, but you're missing your green mana.
Yeah, Hellblade, another card that you won't see in many lists. I
Hallowblade's
found it
pretty cool.
very good.
I enjoyed that in the Rafine list. I haven't actually tried it in the green list. So here your opponent's swinging in, getting 2 card draws. Oh, it's almost a misplay there. Nicely corrected. But yeah, things are looking grim for you in this matchup. These pack leaders
Yeah,
presenting some real threats.
well, an interesting thing I can. I'm basically just looking at this point to mull a Greasefang rather than to, because I don't need green mana if I can now mull a Greasefang and then can't stay away it, right?
Don't you think
So
that?
that's
Yes, that's always the question that the Stitcher supplier is asking in this deck is, do you really want to attack into this thing because I could potentially win the very next turn?
so basically if I had hit a Greasefang there, I just win the game on the spot. Um, uh, I have also since added interesting tech as well with 2 village rights, which has made my blue-white matchup like almost unbeatable as well, because they always try exile your stuff,
Oh yeah.
and you just village rights it and then play it again.
Huh. Yeah, I do. I really like Village Rights a lot as a card. I've not actually tried it again in any of these kind of lists.
Not getting super lucky here, but an interesting thing about this matchup as well is I was so busy with work at this point. I looked at the list and I looked in the sideboard and I saw no scoozers in the sideboard and I was like, okay, awesome, I'm free to go into the graveyard plan, and I didn't see the 4 scoozers main.
Oof. Yeah, that is something that you hate to see as a Greasefang deck, I'm sure.
Yeah. I bring in and you'll see in game 3 we'll get there and everything. The
Okay, Steel Leaf Champion. It's going to be a problem with the Stitcher supplier. But still, just can't get that Greenland. Rafine's
you can
Informant's got a
see
nice one though.
you can sort of see like how Hellblade has sort of staved off so much of the pressure up to now.
Absolutely, the card is great, but normally we see it in a very aggressive role with Rafine pumping it to make it a a threat for the entire game. And here it's quite strange to see it used so well defensively.
One more thing is this is Hellblade absolutely defends incredibly against Rakdos.
Mm,
Like it blocks. It means they can't attack with their trespasser and blocks bone crusher. It's incredible.
right.
It's just like a yeah.
Yeah,
I've learned all of these things how to beat the meta post.
so you've been playing this deck a lot then.
Yeah, lately. Sitting at like 200, I think, at the moment.
Oh wow, congrats. I must say I haven't been able to play ranked for a good long time. What does it feel like now?
Decent. Lots of Rakdos, and now I've learned the matchup, so I don't lose to it anymore. But the interesting thing about this position is I'm actually, if I draw a green source, I'm still fully in this game. Witherbloom command, so good against elves.
Oh yeah. Oh, right, of course. Just takes out an elf and then also gets extra value at the mill.
Yeah, so good against elves.
I really like it.
There's the green source.
Main board, yeah, green source finally coming down, and I see you are taking out one of these elves, I assume. I really like Witherbloom command main board because it also answers Hearse, which is, sometimes a main board answer for these kind of decks.
Peace.
And being able to recur something like Beseiju is just nuts. I am playing Witherbloom command in my modern deck to try to recur as a Saga. So,
Funny enough, the Beseiju doesn't come up much. The Takanuma a lot more. Takanuma being actually an incredible card in this matchup.
sorry, I think
We lost the stream.
yeah, we just kind of lost signal there for a moment. Okay, there we go. We are back. This Rona's doing some serious work though, making these elves into actual threats.
Yeah, and then obviously allowing himself to attack, right?
Mm-hmm. And he had the Lovestruck Beast just turning it online again.
Well, see, this is a bit of a mistake by the opponent. He could have just double pumped an elf and swung in with both.
Do you think that's better with that Stitches supply on the board?
Yeah, because you represent lethal, right? Trample. Gives a trample as well.
Of course, the trample as well.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so you're actually dead on board here.
I was dead on board.
I forgot that it also grants trample. It's been a while since I've played against Ronas. That's really unfortunate. So again here, this is like very close to lethal by itself.
Yeah.
Wow, one life, and you're gonna try to pull it back from this?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a block. I've got a couple blockers. I've got something. That's not good.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, lasted for not drawing a green source or a third land for like so long.
I genuinely thought that you were just gonna pull it out and come back with the Parhelion, have enough blockers to just keep the game going. I've been in that position with this deck where it just comes back out of nowhere.
No, it does, and that's why you keep playing right to the end, right? Like, because you can just sit there and sort of dawdle away. It's a combo deck. It's the best way. Like, it is a combo.
Would you say that you gravitate towards combo decks a lot more lately?
Depends. So I really like this. Actually, when we speak about this kind of deck, it represents the exact kind of deck I love to play. It's a combo deck with a mid-range plan. When I was playing, one of my best times ever in Pioneer was when I was playing mono white with the Heliod Ballistas thing, and plays a complete mid-range plan and then combos out as well. So yeah, this did feel very similar to that actually.
Those kind of decks that have a plan B are always really fun to play because you're not locked into that strategy, and if you do get hard countered by something like, Necromentia, I suppose, it's not the end of the world. How do you feel about the sideboarding here now after you've finished the tournament?
So the sideboarding was fine. I just I didn't against. It was just against Rakdos. I didn't realize that you sideboard out of the whole graveyard. You sideboard out of all of your graveyard recursion, and you play a mid-range plan. I wish I'd known that. I did have 2 of the Shaper Sanctuaries though, but I didn't draw any of them.
Yeah, I must say,
and then there's the God Hand.
When I play a deck like this, I do generally try to trim a lot of the can't stay away, that kind of stuff. That is one of the most painful Stitches suppliers I've seen.
But you actually also trim all the Parhelion.
All of
against
the Rakdos. Wow, that seems very counterintuitive.
I trim all the Parhelions. I go. I'm 2 main, 1 sideboard boat. So I bring in the third boat, and you just play a mid-range plan with the boat.
So you're representing the Grizzly Salvage. Hoping to ideally in an ideal world go for white mana, dump a Parhelion, win the game.
Yeah, I mean this deck is silly, hey. deck is silly that it does these things.
It's oh wow, there's the white mono and there's a Pylean in the bin.
So this is when you just go, okay, cool.
You can see you're already ready to do that before you drew your card. You're just like, yeah, here you go.
Yeah,
I'll
there you
have me a
look.
Greasefang Pylean combo and attack you for 13, 14,
Yeah.
13.
And I think this was the first time my opponent had actually seen this combo,
Oh,
unfortunately.
yeah, that's a feels bad.
Yeah.
And if they do somehow
Another
deal with the board, you've got the Rafine's Informant. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, another cool thing the village rights allows you to do is in this point or so, once you've reanimated the thing in your post combat, rather than having it come back to your hand, you can just sack it.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to the yard. You don't have to worry about trying to get rid of it anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a big fan of playing. So I play Hallowblade instead of Lily. I just prefer the defensive aspect against Rakdos or even Burn.
Yeah.
Um,
That seems reasonable
so
to me.
getting these things stuck in your hand can happen quite easily.
So we're gearing up a mammoth, playing another mammoth as land.
This
But
is,
you drew
informant in hand.
feral
It's just
push,
game.
so.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Game 3, I messed up so badly. I got lucky though.
Okay, well, we'll look forward to it. Something I've been trying a bit with this deck is, I've actually went back to some older tech and was testing out some of the learn creatures, the Professor of Symbology, just to see if that's something one would want to be doing, in like particularly in a best of one style of this deck.
So there's a player at the moment. He's doing very well. He's playing a very unique form of Greasefang in Pioneer. He's playing Yorion Greasefang, and
Okay.
that's his filler card as he just plays 4 of all of the ones that we sort of trimming down or up, and then he plays the learn lesson thing.
Yeah, I found it was alright. I could see it working. Um, I assume these fatal pushes that we've seen both this game and previous game have been brought in from sideboard.
Yeah, they're for scoos, and then I go and use it on an elf, even
Yeah, I was gonna
bring it
say,
in
would
for
you turn
scoos.
one an elf? Because I
No,
probably
I'm
would.
not supposed to turn one an elf, but this is why I say I didn't see the scoos in the sideboard. I'm like, okay, I would usually hold it for the scoos, and then I'm like, oh, he's not playing scoos because none come in,
Moment of
but they were all in the main board.
Okay, that's unfortunate.
Mistake there. Don't fatal push that elf, especially with a bloom command in hand.
Right. I guess you really want to make sure there's not a turn 2 steel leaf.
I mean, yeah, but like with this hand, it's so good anyway, right? You got Hellblade to block Steel Leaf as long as they want. So I wasn't under pressure.
It's true. You weren't under pressure. It's turn 1. What are you expecting him to have done? Oh, and there's the scoos. Wow.
There's the scoos.
Wow. Okay, but you, to your credit, you're just like, okay, that's alright. Just carrying on.
Yeah, I got lucky this game. He just didn't know the combo. Otherwise, I would have lost the game. I had no.
Okay.
Like he tapped out when he had scoos available.
Yeah, I remember someone was actually asking what we thought about Mono Green as a deck to bring to the tournament. And I don't think the list looks bad. But
No, it's great.
I think it didn't perform very well though for him in the tournament.
Yeah.
It's an interesting one because you swing in, like you could get damage in, but it's just not worth it with the scoos, with lifelink and being able to grow bigger with that elf in the graveyard already.
Yeah.
But then do you really want to Rafine's Informant now when you don't really want the Pylean in the graveyard? Oh my goodness. So you can't possibly dump it here, right?
Well, this is where the seasoned Hallowblade is so good.
Yeah, because you could just dump it there.
Because
and
you can
hope
dump
that
it at
if he taps out-
any point at instant speed.
Yeah.
So in that way you give away no information. Hallowblade is criminally underplayed. I do think in this archetype.
I really enjoyed it a lot more with Rafine. It is something I'm kind of keen to try again though. And I see we have Zune in chats. I think Mono Green has a middling Rakdos matchup. Yeah,
It might,
that's fair.
but it's got Shaper's Sanctuary, and I cannot stress enough how much of a hoser Shaper's Sanctuary is against Rakdos. I cannot stress enough.
Okay,
The
I'm
card solos the matchup.
gonna need to play this card because it's I see you just raving about it all the time. And you
You
see
want to
it
play
kind of
You want to play spirits? Add in 4 breeding pools. Add in 4 hinterland harbor, whatever, and
you know
whatever.
spirits is something I quite enjoy. Yes.
Yeah, and put the Shaper Sanctuaries in. You'll thank me later.
I'll have to give that a try a bit later then. Okay, so because your opponent tapped out, you're able to just
Yeah.
here you go. Here's my Parhelion. Here's my Greasefang. Can you do anything about it? Probably
Once
not.
again. Yeah. And the nice thing is once again with Hellblade on board, it's repeatable. So you don't need to find a way to discard this card, which is a bit of an issue sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. Zune saying Shaper Sanctuary and Ronus are the only cards that are relevant. And sorry, I forgot. Sorry, I
Against Rakdos, they're saying.
yeah, it's specifically against Rakdos.
Yeah. I think if you get an early Shaper Sanctuary against Rakdos, you can, as mono green, you can just laugh your way into Oblivion.
Really,
they can't
that's
do
wrong.
anything. Yeah.
Okay, I need to try this then. And Zoe saying no one expects mainboard scoots, and make sure that they remember it. That was earlier when you did the turn 3 combo in the previous game. And Badger saying hiding info in this matchup would be different IRL since it would be difficult to keep a poker face when drawing Greasefang like that. It is difficult, but it's certainly doable. Okay, so we've got the Scoos attacking in, Ronus pumping. I see this is going to be one of those matchups where you're going to be very grateful you can just discard the Parhelion.
Exactly right. Just the repeatable discard.
Hey, Variant G. And we have a Heart's Desire, just a little 1/1. That looks like all she wrote.
Yeah.
That's lethal on the field. You're gonna end of turn Parhelion here?
Don't even need to, just pre-combat, right?
Sure.
I guess you get an extra attacker, but it doesn't matter.
Bonus can't block.
Yeah. But so if you'd untap land, cooked on something. But yeah.
Very nice.
Deck just does this out of nowhere. Like, I have no rights to win that game at all. But you can capitalize quite easily on like any small misplays that your opponent make.
That's true. The Scoos tapping out, I think, was the really huge detail here.
Yeah, but like, he didn't see anything in the yard, right? It was only, I had like 2 cards in hand. I got very lucky in drawing the Greasefang, obviously, off the top.
So, we're just going to pause here and update some of our information very quickly. For our next match, we also have another round 1 match. This time it's Ken, who is playing Rakdos Midrange. Sorry, just want to check the matchup, because I had all the matchups open specifically for this. Okay, yeah, and Ivan Krokot.
Got turn 1 40s, which we're going to see a lot of in these videos, I'm assuming.
Well, let's hope so. I mean, we had most of the players on Rakdos, but I don't know. We have a Gruul aggro deck on the other side of the field here, and I think this is actually a Landfall deck in particular. So, what are your thoughts going into this? Apart from, Thoughtseize being a pretty cool start.
You've got landfall triggers answered by removal. I don't think the landfall deck has any. He's gonna have any game, unfortunately.
Okay, yeah.
The efficiency of removal on Rakdos is leading to why it's so strong. Is that like it has middling matchups versus control and combo, but it just absolutely hoses all the creature deck.
Yeah, I think this should be a good showcase for Rakdos to see if it is as oppressive against creature-oriented decks as it seems. Sorry, it's saying, gonna be nice to see what it's like to be on the other side of the turn when Thoughtseize for once. Yeah, that's true. G and I both
for,
don't play a ton of Thoughtseize.
for anyone sick of Rakdos, please play Shaper Sanctuary.
Okay, so let's get started. I must just warn that halfway through this match the video gets very stuttery, so it's gonna be we'll keep it on, but it won't be as dynamic as we're used to. Okay, so we do see there's a Lotus Cobra. Roaring Earth, not a card that I've seen outside of drafts, I think.
I think a lot of this deck will be similar as well.
I know, I think it's a pretty sweet card. I guess Riveteer's outlook being,
Yeah, you
Evolving
just
Wilds with
just
advantage.
outclassed. Yeah, it's just slightly outclassed.
Hmm.
Some of these cards.
And Ken's side, we're seeing this Blood Tithe Harvester coming down turn 2, I think.
Yeah, I mean we've got turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4 lined up
Pretty great.
pretty much.
A lot of value.
Auto, you can auto queue these up. Yeah, Rakdos is oppressive.
What did you think about that? Thoughts he's taking the Cobra turn 1?
And I wouldn't have even bothered. I'd probably have taken some removal, because you want the Cobra just gets answered with Bone Crusher off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Just maximize his card value, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Very
yeah,
interesting.
that's interesting.
Yeah, so Ken trying to choose whether to stomp there and
I
keeping
probably
it.
would have just hard casted Bone Crusher.
It seemed like she was prioritizing putting that Den of the Bugbear down. And here we have a lot of triggers going off with the Brushfire Elemental, but it is going to be stomped in response.
Yep. No, you get a clean answer to it.
Variant, she's saying the Gruul Landfall plan was neat, pretty fresh. It's a very different deck, certainly, and it is pretty cool to see it in this kind of a tournament. But
In a lot of metas, I think it's very cool in a lot of metas. I just think with the prevalence of Rakdos, unfortunately,
not a very good one to roll into in this particular matchup. No.
and especially like considering half the field is Rakdos,
Mm.
just unfortunate.
So here we have that Fable coming down instead of Chandra. What do you think about that?
I actually agree. Obviously, I would have played the Shockland tapped, but I personally like to have Chandra on a board where I can immediately just minus it and get value and then start plussing from there.
Right.
And the Goblin Shaman allows you to play. Okay, Goblin Shaman takes removal.
Ken is in chat. Don't be chirping my deck at Jimmy.
No, as I said, it's just unfortunate. Like you ran into a very hostile meta.
Ken's on the Rakdos deck.
Oh, Rakdos, well done. You chose the right deck.
Okay, so we had an Enerton cracking that blood token, discarding a blood crypt to get a mountain, and then tossing both to Fable to get 2 more Fables.
Yeah.
I heard you like value, Ken.
Yeah. This is why, as I said, like I like to play the Chandra on a targetable. This is a great. I like that Fable on the previous turn.
Mm.
And I think you just carry on rolling Fables at this point. But the Chandra on.
Okay.
Chandra looking at ulting at this point.
Yeah, I think that could be pretty good because now it feels like you're starting to exhaust the Landfall deck's threats.
Yeah.
Field of Ruin also representing an advantage later on for that Den of the Bugbear, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's a big mammoth. Tin Street saying thanks, Jimmy. And Zine saying I keep land there to play Chandra plus Bone Crusher. Yeah, that's also a good one. The 4th Fable of the Mirror. What is with you Rakdos decks?
Card is busted. Draw busted card, win game.
Things are getting out of hand. Now there's 2 of them. And Chandra looking to take out that mammoth as well. I didn't like that at first because my gut is like, oh, but get mana and play more Fables. But at the same time, if that mammoth gets to stick around, it's going to start growing with that Roaring Earth. So That seems like a huge amount of value to just get that off the table now. Zoe saying, I heard you like fables, so you made your made your fable draw more fables.
Mm.
And Badger saying play 4, draw 4.
That's the way.
Must say that card's been pretty crazy. Do you remember when it came out and it was $1?
I bought 12 of them.
You bought 12? Okay,
Yeah, so
I thought
like
I was good getting 5.
well, it's not an investment thing. I have lots of decks that are let people borrow whenever they want and of different formats.
Yep.
And I knew it was going to be a staple in a lot of the formats, so I just bought 3 play sets so that I could split them across decks because I don't have to like swap cards in and out, you know.
That's really great.
Yeah, card is. I expected a ban on Monday actually because there was a ban announcement. I
Yeah.
thought Fable was going to get hit from Pioneer, and I was not alone in that opinion.
Yep, I agreed with you actually. I saw some people in Pretoria were also trying to figure out what was going to be banned where, and I was fully prepared for it to be Fable. What do you think about the Meatalk Massacre ban?
I think it's like 6 months too late.
Yeah, because
Um,
you took me down with that card in one of the
yeah,
previous
you can
EGG tournaments.
you just use that card, just lean on it. It's like you don't have to do anything. You
Hmm.
it changes your game plan entirely. You can play a creature control deck and just sit there and wait until they lose. Nah, the fact that aggro decks are playing 3 over board sweeper is telling, or was telling, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Also,
Ooh, that's
very
spicy.
nice.
An ancient Green Warden. I'm used to that being a commander card.
Just eats the Infernal Grasp, and then I think that's a lethal attack.
Right. I was gonna say it's a big butt, but Infernal Grasp doesn't care. Um, sorry, I missed some of chat. So you're saying APF always play Fables and one for every hour. Badger saying Yorion, more like Yori gone. Yeah, that's sad. And Ken, I bought some Fables from Jimmy over the weekend, and he bought them to me and was like, "Listen, these are about to get banned. Are you sure you want them? Really? This happened?"
Yeah, like I always, so I don't, I feel very bad for people, and this happens quite a lot. Is uh, when they buy cards from me and then they get banned quite recently after, I always feel quite terrible. So whenever this happens now, and I'm like, listen, there's a ban and restriction announcement coming on Monday. It's not confirmed that it's going to be banned, obviously, but this card is oppressive. So I just gave them a warning, to allow
That's really
them
kind of you.
to
Nice.
and they went through. They went through with it. They're like, yeah, okay, I understand that, cool. And now look, they got fables, and they're fully playable. So
Congrats, Ken.
good on them. Good all around.
Yeah, no, that's
Miles all
awesome.
around.
Sorry, saying Infernal Grasp doesn't care about the size of the butt. Yeah, okay, I opened myself up to that one. Um, Infernal Grasp's coming out, despite how useful they were here against that ancient Green Warden. But I feel that is probably a niche case. You don't want that life loss.
I think he's feeling that all he has to do is get rid of the early 1 or 2 threats and then use the edicts from Lily on the big stuff.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, there are lilies here. I actually missed that.
Yeah, there was.
Sweet. And Kalitas
Lily,
representing massive value.
yeah, Lily having changed the format quite interestingly as well. Very high power level card.
Variant G saying I'm buying all my cards from Jimmy now. Can start some trading on the side for you in the group. Just promote your wares.
So I just like, so as I said, I bought 12 and 4 of them were sort of mismatched. So I just got rid of the well, they wanted the mismatched set. So
That's fair. What do you think about that opener starting off with just a very aggressive play with fire your face turn 1?
I think you do that if you don't have another land in your
Yeah.
hand.
I will scry. We had an incident at the RCQ where someone did that but picked up 2 cards instead of 1.
Interesting. By mistake, of course.
Yes, yeah, no, it's a simple
Yeah.
simple fix as well.
I was reading a horrible article the other day because I heard about some. I mean, there was some interesting things that happened at the RCQ about sort of people trying to angle shoot or whatnot. And
Yeah.
in Tokyo, did you know that the owner of Haruya is the same guy who, I don't know if you saw in a GP very long ago, in the middle of a game, the guy had no outs and he shuffled his deck. Well, he just, in the middle of a game, pretended to shuffle his deck but didn't, just grabbed his deck and then offered his opponent to cut it, and his opponent cut his deck, but there was no actual game action to force it,
Okay.
and he got his opponent DQ'd for it.
What?
It's the same guy who owns Haruya, yeah.
That's insane. I did not know that.
Absolutely nuts. I didn't know it was the guy who owned Haruya.
So I didn't, as one of the judges at the event, I didn't pick up on much of that at all happening at the events, which I was quite relieved.
There were one or two incidents that I saw on camera that weren't so nice, but Crispin actually let us, as observers, he let us tell them to stop the game and call a judge in.
Yeah,
which was really nice.
Yeah, I've had that happen as well with when I was doing some commentary with Crispin for one of Nexus events. It was very cool actually.
Yeah.
So he's saying Jimmy is Fable if you have coin. Tin Street, my recording is so bad. Wow, big sauce. No, it's completely fine. We're just having laggy skips from now until the end of the this recording, but that's okay. It's not that much longer. So he's saying, no worries, happy to have videos to stream and stuff like this happen.
Don't come to me for more fables, they're all gone. Tin Street got my last mismatching ones.
Unfortunate. Now where will we obtain our fables?
I don't know, because that card is like super hard to find.
Yeah, I've been sitting on my one spare, wondering where I'm gonna get rid of it, because it's so expensive right now, and maybe I just kind of want it for Commander.
Yeah, I'd keep it. It's like, it'll go in every Commander red deck.
Okay, so there's a chump block by that Bloodtooth Harvester just to avoid 6 damage from the Hound. That's like the strongest Hellhound I've seen in quite a long time.
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree with that chump block though, because he's getting to play Kalitas now.
I think that they're just trying to buffer the life total. So, okay, we've got a Bloodtooth Harvester coming down with the Heartless Act in hand to end this Hellhound.
Well, it can't Heartless Act it, right? Because
it's got counter, of course. Sorry.
Yeah. That's partially the issue here. He's wanting his Infernal Grasps back. Take my Heartless Act, please.
And it seems like the Hellhound just got pumped to a 5/6 with Roiling Earth, adding another counter. So even if you remove all the counters with Heartless Act, it's going to be a 2/3 and trade with your Harvester.
Yeah, I think that's a fine trade at this point.
Oh, 2 cards for 1. It probably would be, just because opponents only got 1 card left in hand. It's probably not a creature.
And you get to untap with Fable.
or untap with just playing Kalitas onto board.
Yeah.
Okay, that's exactly what's happening, it seems. Here comes the Heartless Acts.
That's perfect. Got it.
Really strange here that the Infernal Grasp would have answered this a little more cleanly.
I don't think he's concerned at this point. With the 1 card in hand on the Landfall deck.
It's looking pretty good for Rakdos. And yeah, there we go. There's the counters being removed. Oh, something else happened and now it's a 9/10.
Yeah, some more counters being added.
Okay, that's terrifying. I don't know what the card... Oh, Roiling Regrowth. 3 mana sack a land, put 2 lands into play.
Yeah.
So that's pretty sweet.
Kicked for the counters.
It's a massive amount of damage. So you're saying the Fabled Fables. Tin Street, I am the Fable Lord now. Sorry, counters counter Heartless Act. Yep, that's true. Tin Street, oh my god, so glitch. I know, it's okay, we're making sense of it. We could tell what that little card in the top right is, that Roiling Regrowth.
What's this? Can't really see it. Oh yeah, okay, that's great.
Okay, so the board seems to have largely reset.
We're trying our best.
So there's a Mammoth and a Hellhound now against a Giant.
Yeah, and now the Kalitas comes and that's going to close out the game. I assume.
And life total's still very high for both players, so I'd imagine that's
a lot of chumping on the Rakdos player.
Yeah?
Has kept it high, so now he can afford to maybe take a hit and trade favorably when the Kalitas is out. Oh, he's drawn and played a Noxious Grasp.
Noxious Grasp taking out that mammoth. That's pretty sweet. Already sandbagging that Sekensen for the 1/1 tokens.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was a great turn to play Kalitas, though.
Yeah. It was a pretty good opening. But I guess the concern is always that mammoth is gonna get trample.
Well, yeah, they double grow, right, and then they double out of the Bone Crusher range, which is a problem.
Ken saying I root for my opponents more than myself.
Yeah, when you're playing the bad guy.
Yeah, well, I suppose that's true. And there's the Trespasser. That's the other very, very evil rude card.
Yeah.
So he's saying it's more fun that way. Love to be that encouraging opponent who's just excited to be there. Tin Street saying I can't remember this game. I was so stressed. So he's saying big mood. And Tin Street saying I'm many things, Jimmy. He is not one of them.
Sorry, I keep on.
Badger, I love people doing the thing and beating me with combos and strats. It's only 5 Fairy that I'm like, why you do this? Yeah. 5 Fairy feels so bad. Good news, Badger. We get to see some 5 Fairy in the quarterfinals.
Does it? Is 5 Fairy really that bad?
It feels bad to just slowly exile everything and not have a win condition. Just like, I won't mill myself because I'll keep putting 5 Fairy back in my library.
Yeah. I love that hidden win conditions.
It's elegant, and I do like that, but it just takes forever, and means you can just sit and do nothing and just use your card draw engine to not lose.
Mm. Remember at one point, playing 5 Fairy, tucking itself, playing next 5 Fairy, tucking itself.
Yeah.
So that you've got 2 in there, so it gives you an extra exile when you get to draw.
yeah. The card is so good.
Yeah. Wandering Emperor though, coming on the board.
I like Wandering Emperor quite a lot.
Really pushing 5 Fairy. Sort of a lot of the decks are playing like 3 5 Fairy and 4 Wandering Emperor. So
really, that
yeah.
big a split now.
Yeah.
Tin Street saying it's okay, all good vibes, split. And so saying good vibes or else. Okay, we've just got a minute left, but it does look like this match is wrapping up. The Landfall deck seems to be out of land, and the Rakdos Midrange deck has Kalitas, Reflections of Kiki-Jiki, and 2 Graveyard Trespassers, Bone Crusher Giants, and then just a little Goblin Shaman to chump.
The thing about Kalitas coming in that I'm frustrated with is Graveyard Trespass is a vampire.
Oh, that's sweet.
It is unfair.
Wait, isn't it?
No, it's not a vampire. There's another one that they play that is a vampire though.
Okay.
Oh, the Sorin token. Sorry, the Sorin token is a vampire, and they get to use the Sorin interaction with Kalitas. As soon as you try and nuke the lifelink token, and it was really frustrating.
Yeah, there's some interesting new synergies with creature types that.
Also, Bloodtithe Harvester is a vampire.
Harvester, nice. That's a good call. Zine also said that at the same time in chat.
Yeah. He's like, this Rakdos deck is just so tight. It's so clean in the way it answers and presents threats. It's like a diverse set of threats. You've got Fable. You've got. Okay, we've got the next.
Okay, so that was the end of the game. Obviously, the Rakdos midrange deck with Tin Street won. Well done to Tin Street. That was just a very good display of how the Rakdos deck is built to beat aggro, I feel.
Or mid-range aggro.
Mid-range, yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's actually not so great against hyper aggro, the go wide bushwhacker kind of style decks.
Just trying to see. Okay, so we have now a round 2 match. And I'm just going to use the names from the tournament. So we have Al on one of my favorite decks, on a Blue Tempo, Spirits.
once again coming up into a hostile environment here. This was not a friendly environment for mono blue tempo.
It surprises me a bit because I feel that the deck very much can very much beat Rakdos, but you have to have your
For
reps
sure, yeah,
with the matchup.
yeah. No, for sure, it can beat it. It's just you're not. It's not a downhill battle. It's uphill. um, you have to play like quite far back, like at least 1 or 2 mana back at almost all times. Which prevents you from going on those really like crazy, turn 1 flash a thing in, equip
Yeah.
it with enchantment, start drawing cards. You just can't do that.
Okay, just before we start the next one, Sine also just saying, but I'm actually off Kalitas. Shieldred is the truth. Ooh, that's controversial. What's your take on that?
I think a lot of the decks are playing 1 Kalitas, 2 Shieldred, one and the second Kalitas in the side.
Interesting. That
I think
seems
that's
insane.
the split at the moment.
Cool. Badger saying Tin Street GG's. And Tin Street saying thanks guys and thanks for the kind words. Yep, very well played. Very cool match. Sorry that the recording didn't work out so well, but yeah, hopefully we'll get some better ones next time. So you're also saying GG. And Tin Street saying I'm so glad they mono blues got to experience each other. And so he's saying it's what they deserve. Well, okay, yes, chill everyone. Mono blue is awesome. Let's begin the match.
Tempo versus tempo matchup,
Yeah.
I feel is going to be very much play draw, is it not?
It really becomes a skill matchup here, and also luck of what.
I was gonna say a bit of luck. Yeah.
So I mean, here this is a pretty sweet hand because you got Ascendant Spirit turn 1, 2 Curious Obsessions, and a Slip Out the Back and Rattle Chains. There's so much in this hand already.
What are you trying to in this matchup use your slip out the backs and that, because they don't obviously interact much with you? Are you trying to slip out the back and remove their targeting of the Curious Obsession?
Exactly. You might even want to just take out something that would be hitting you to draw some cards, or take out a blocker. I've actually used it a few times just to be like, actually you're not blocking this.
So do you play Curious Obsession here in case they slip it or something like that? And then hold up Rattle Chains to flash in their turn?
I'd probably be a bit greedy here and just go with both. I don't know if that is the correct play, but because you're on the play here and your opponent's only got the 1 land down, I want to just present a massive advantage.
Sure.
Does depend on this too.
Make them have it, right?
Yeah. So the opponent does have a Spectral Sailor. Sorry, chat's going a little crazy. Zune saying Quarry equals Autumn Birchet Stan. I am. Thank you. One of my favorite moments in playing Arena was actually being able to play against Autumn, and beating her with one of my amazing Herbrews. But yeah, that's. Thanks for recognizing that. Tin Street saying, such a smooth recording. Yeah, okay. We'll work on your future ones, Ken. They're just saying everyone hates on mono blue until Arena Daily is like play X blue spells. Yeah, I really like this deck, but I might be a little biased.
Shame. Was it Kendra's PC that struggled?
Yeah, I think there's a bit of an issue with OBS that side, but I'm not 100% certain.
No problem.
But we can definitely look into it if Tin Street's keen. So we got that Ascendant Spirit just getting chumped, Spectral Sailor coming down again, Rattle Chains in response, just making sure this Rattle Chains is on the battlefield, and that lets you flash in the Ascendant Spirit too. It's gonna take a bit of work to come back from this, because
how many slip effects are there in your standard mono blue tempo list?
Not many.
Okay, so then it's fine to go as they went there with the turn 1 obsession.
Yeah.
Because I'm just wondering if you do try and equip at that point, equip your Curious Obsession onto a thing, and they do slip it.
Remember,
how much does it cost you?
Phasing out keeps all auras and equipment attached to that creature.
Can't they phase it out in response to it
In
being
response,
targeted
yes.
though?
So I would
Yeah,
only
yeah,
use a maximum of one. I wouldn't lose both of them.
yeah. What I mean is like, so on that turn one, where on the turn two when they equipped the slip,
Mm-hmm.
um,
And
is that
the
a risk of
obsession.
sorry, they equipped a Curious Obsession? Is that a consideration that they're going
Oh
to
yeah,
slip it?
look, it is a consideration, but I
And if
still
they
feel
do,
it
how much does
is.
that cost you?
It costs you one obsession,
Yeah,
and it grows your creature, but you keep the other obsession.
yeah.
I think
Well,
that's
I
worth
mean,
it.
you obviously you did in the response to the first obsession
Mm-hmm.
for sure. Um, I just feel like offering targets for that card in this matchup is unnecessary because
It
um, a lot of
sure,
because you're not interacting with their board at all, are you?
very seldom, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you got Shacklegeist, which
Yeah.
can
So
really turn the
slips,
matchup.
but but then it's removing it anyway. I just
Mm-hmm.
mean giving a target for slip basically.
Yeah. 10 Street saying is Jelly. Variant G, usually 2 or 3. I assume that's the number of slip effects. Zoe Cloud goes over house, internet dies. I'm sorry, Zoe. Badger, how is Explorer Mono Blue compared to Pioneer? Virtually the same. The lists are, to my knowledge, identical. Um, Zune, you play Azorius and Pioneer for Spellcaller. That's technically two different versions of spirits. There's still the Mono Blue one in Pioneer, which I prefer. They're good against different things though. Mono Blue slightly worse against Rakdos, whereas in Pioneer you'd probably more often play Bant because it's better in that matchup with
If you're gonna play
Kokos.
more, if you're not gonna play mono blue, you'll play band. Yes.
Yeah, and I personally prefer Mono Blue, but that's a preference thing, and which matchups you think are going to come into play. This
Yeah.
Ascendant Spirit is evolving, where you've got to spell pierce and slip out the back to keep it alive if things go badly.
Mono blue can really struggle against a mid-range heavy format.
Um,
Things like mono green.
Sune saying, really, I feel like you have a hard time without the white. Look, really, it comes down to what matches you're trying to prey on. Um, the spell queller can be really huge, but it's not so good in other matches. And against like Rakdos, where they have all the answers for your spell queller, it's not something you really want to be doing, in my opinion, anyway.
What they used to do, or what they do in band spirits to help the spell queller actually stick, is play the Archon, which
Evonaria,
prevents.
yeah.
Yeah, so it prevents you playing two spells a turn, which means that once you kill the spell queller, obviously, then they can't play the
And
spell that's tucked under.
Archon is such a good sideboard option as well,
Yeah,
because it just hoses a bunch of random decks.
yeah, it was that whole
Oh
deck
wow.
archetype. Oh wow,
I've got a third Curious Obsession.
that's a lot of cards.
Okay, I'm very interested in this approach. So we're going just main phase, here's a Rattle Chains, and then I'm going to go Shacklegeist and tap down your blocker and hit you and definitely draw some cards here. I don't know, this feels needlessly aggressive to me, personally. What do you think about this?
I mean, I don't see. There's not many punishers, but yeah,
I can't
I
say what
wouldn't.
cards are in opponent's hand, so it depends
Yeah,
what they have to flash in, because now you're tapped out.
yeah. No, I mean, I would never tap out. As I said, like you want to just trade resources in this.
Yeah, so
That's not
I'm
a way that you trade resources.
I'm a fan of like just going here's an obsession attack,
Yeah,
or just swing in for 6, and if you need to, you can even just tap your lands to pump this in spirit if something really weird happens.
I mean, I think it's fine to trade this. You get a rattle chains for free, right? And they'll
Yeah,
hold up all your interaction.
if they just chump like that, but like if they've got some flashing and lords or something, things can get tricky. I don't know. It's worked out that it has opened them up to combat. What is this? What is that new enchantment called?
Research.
Combat research. Is that it? On the rattle chains, letting the other spirit deck draw some cards.
Yeah.
And you have another very aggressive, just swing with everything. Not even gonna try keeping some of my spirits back with Shacklegeist.
Actually, in this case, I would obsession one of the other things
Yeah, just
pre-combat.
present multiple threats.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think it really matters at this point,
It
but
shouldn't.
I would
So much card draw.
I would definitely obsession the other one of the other creatures.
Look, we've got a rattle chains coming into block here. If it does swing in, we have
What?
slip out the back just was not cast that entire game.
Yeah. Why play? Yeah, that's what I mean. So you don't want to give it a target, right?
Yeah.
Why play Band Spirits when you can play Band Auras? Auras deck looks really cool actually. A friend of mine played Auras in the Pioneer part of Trios last weekend
So
when you guys were there.
what's the blue for there? Is it the that gain life draw card aura?
Uh, the blue is for like combat research and that kind of stuff, I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know. There's also they do play it for the. I know they play it for the flying enchantment. The so that when you use light pause and stuff like that, when you play a 2 mana enchantment, you can give your creature evasion swing in like direct
Hmm.
lethal.
Okay, yeah,
They
that
play
makes
like one of
sense.
one of the. In fact, a lot of the Auras decks don't even play a blue source, but they will play one of the blue enchantments
Okay.
that they can light pause into
So
for lethal
I
damage over
haven't
the
actually
top.
seen light pause lists, and if there's a light pause list, that makes me very happy because it's a legendary fox, and that makes me yeah happy
It
itself.
would.
I'm gonna have to look into building Vance auras. Thanks, Tin Street. So the sideboard there, did you notice the slip out the backs? I think remained in the board, in the deck.
I would take them out.
Yeah.
The only thing I'm trying to do with slip out the back in this is trying to, as I said, phase something out and targeted when it's being targeted for a
Oof.
curious obsession. That's no
It's
lads.
not the kind of hand you want to see, and it's got the slip out the back.
Yeah.
So both of these decks probably bring in four mystical disputes.
I that said though, I don't dislike trying to catch a because I think the draw effects are basically are they just how you win this game in this matchup, or is it
Mm.
different? Because I feel like sticking a draw effect is
Oof. Just that turn one Ascendant Spirit under the double mystical dispute feels very awkward because that card can carry the game.
so
Um,
I wouldn't have actually played the Wanderer here.
I would have kept open the disputes, but it seems
Yeah,
like not going to be punished. Opponent's stuck with one
yeah.
land.
I'd have kept
Um,
I've kept it open for the combat research. Same with you, probably.
yeah,
Curious
I
obsession.
feel like
Yeah,
instead here the positions just got weirdly reversed.
yeah.
So we have Muslim Wanderer with the Curious Obsession coming in, drawing some cards, keeping up one mana for Dispute. Sorry, Tin Street saying I got to play Modern Hammer Time for the first time one day when I grow up. That
Yeah.
sounds
Yeah,
great.
she lent my deck actually.
Awesome. I do
Yeah.
love Hammer Time, though I've got a stupid budget version because I can't afford Stoneforge Mystics. But it means that I can do silly stuff. I've got the Merfolk Mill Myself 2000's Oracle win the game silliness going on there.
Interesting.
So you got a pre-combat Supreme Phantom just to get the extra pumps in, hit for 4, which is really cool. Get to draw more cards.
I didn't see because we can't see opponent's cards. I don't know if they mulligan, but I think a hand like I think in this matchup you have to mulligan for Curious Obsession and Interaction, right? At least one of them.
I don't like
You
doing hard
I don't think you
mulligans for
can.
that, but
I don't think you can have a hand without a mystical dispute or I think you can. You need
yeah.
one or the other.
Ideally, you really want one, but personally, I don't like hard mulliganing.
Really, I feel this deck does that so well. That's
It
what this
certainly
deck
can,
does.
yeah.
Whenever I've played against it, it seems like the people who've played well against me, or the people who I felt that have struggled to beat, are like they'll mulligan down to 4 just to find a piece of a wanderer or a one drop with Curious Obsession, and then just
Hmm.
keep going up from there. Do you counter this? I don't think you do.
You might want to just because that can tap down your Wanderer,
Okay, for sure.
and you want to keep on getting in with the Curious Obsession. I think I probably would just counter it here, but it's gonna just get yeah. The Mausoleum Wanderer is gonna pop the counter spell, which means
But
Shackleblast will resolve.
I suppose you had to let the no, yeah. You see, I would have liked to
Okay.
hold up and let them do that.
Face the Haven's very nice pickup here. It's an additional threat. That means that if opponent is going to commit to just tapping down the Mausoleum Wanderer, you're still going to be able to apply a lot of pressure with the Faceless Haven and a Supreme Phantom.
Does that kill the Curious Obsession? Because
It
it didn't
does not
attack.
because we get to attack with the Supreme Phantom here.
Oh, is Curious Obsession just attack with
A
anything?
creature, yeah.
Okay.
So you're saying Legendary Fox building a Legendary Fox deck? Yep, that's damn right. Um, and Zane saying I played Breeds, he never gets punished. It's certainly seeming that way with the turnaround at the beginning of this match. That was yeah, pretty cool. Okay, so we have Reagan just finally getting that third land drop and passing, whereas Breed's got another
This
Faceless
Haven's so
Haven.
strong right now.
And this must surely be an activation here for
All
going
that
into
the speed.
combat. But this is looking really, really good for Breed.
Yeah, it looks rough here.
Mm.
5 for Haven.
Yeah. Shame, because they changed Haven as Historic, when I played it in the previous Explorer tournament for EGG, my opponent blocked it with their Bishop of Wings, thinking that it was still a 3-3,
I should.
and lost their bishop. Was pretty
So
upset.
they've restored. I don't know if you've probably seen. They restored all those changes there.
What do you mean? No, I haven't seen.
All the changes in historic of the cards, like Haven and all those standard cards that they fixed, sort of, or turned down. They reverted them back to full power.
Wow. Okay, that's great. I missed that. Okay,
There's
so
like a bunch of cards.
what do you think about this rattle chains? Shame.
I think you're out of options at this time.
Varangy saying thanks for the sympathy, guys. Lol. No, it's a rough matchup, and
Yeah.
I assume you kept because you had a really good start, but then you just didn't draw the second land there, and Brett just punishing with the obsession onto his one drop that I think we both agree probably shouldn't have been played on turn one.
Yeah.
It came out massively in Breed's favor here. We've got Mystical Dispute, your
Yeah,
Mystical Dispute.
it was a gamble. You make your opponent have it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they said, "Do you have the Curious Obsession on too?" And you unfortunately didn't. Other times, that could be.
Varangy
that
saying
could gather.
I lost because I played the wrong lands. Lol. Wrong
Yeah.
artwork. Yeah. You should go with the Modern Horizons 2 Snowlands. I am disappointed in both of you, fellow Spirit players, for playing the wrong snow-covered islands.
Those in the foil Modern Horizon 2 Snowlands are absolutely gorgeous in paper.
Oh, I can imagine. Now I actually quite like the Cold Snap Snowlands for islands. I think they look really pretty.
Sure.
Tin Street saying, okay, this is a lot. Purely from a viewer's perspective, I love the combination of Foxglovelass and Jimmy on commentary. Your knowledge is immense, and I feel your different playstyles complement each other. Jimmy knows Rakdos like the back of his hand, and Foxglove is the same with Mono Blue. Aw, thanks, Tin Street.
Thanks. Yes, I know it. I know it from playing against it enough. I haven't ever been the bad guy playing it, although I am quite the bad guy currently, just playing Greasefang. I do feel like Greasefang is the bad guy deck. Okay, so there's an interesting thing here. Having the Phantom in play, I don't think I would have attacked with that Rattle Chains.
Yeah, because now we have a second...
Because you could double tap down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what we could also do here is you could just tap down the Haven and represent a trade with the Shacklegeist to kill the Mausoleum Wanderer.
Yeah. Well, I mean, without attacking with the Rattle Chains, I'd have tapped them both down, right? And then just force them to do 1 damage into with the
just
Phantom.
On the board. So now you're saying, are you okay with trading Wanderer for Shacklegeist? I don't know if that is the right thing to do, but it's an interesting consideration.
I think they're fine with that.
I think so too. You've got the 2 Faceless Havens and a land in hand. You're going to keep throwing these Havens at people until they die.
Yeah. So Rattle Chain's attack was a bit sus.
In the previous tournament, I must say, I won so many games just with the Haven.
Yeah,
card is
so
just
strong.
so good. It looks like it's boiling down to the player suggested we're going to keep up that Shackle guy. So do you want to trade?
You attack with both.
Attack with both. Very interesting. So now we're going to take out the Lord. No, gonna just say goodbye to the Mausoleum Wanderer. Zoe's saying, why is there no space snowlands? And agreeing with Tin Streets. And Variant saying, at this point I thought I had 8 life. I don't know why. Yeah, it's unfortunate. I guess you do want to present some kind of aggression, but it's not really scaling very well. And staring down the 2 Faceless Havens, I don't know.
Oh, he used the mana to upgrade the spirit main phase.
Yeah. Hmm.
I do you, maybe they didn't realize it was their opponent's turn. I've
Oh,
done
we're
that.
getting frisky. Okay,
I
but
think
now
they realized at
it's
this point that they had to do this.
lethal on board. So hopefully that rattle chain's gonna flash something interesting in here.
Yeah, I don't think they would have done that play without, obviously. So, do you attack with Phantom here, knowing that Rattle Chains, any
I
flash
feel
creature
like
kind of
you
trades with the Phantom?
probably have to. Wow, and there's lethal. So there we
Oh,
go. Mind games.
okay. Well, once again, make them have it, right?
Yeah,
I don't know. Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, wow. Um, I don't know. I don't actually know if I would
Lots
have
of
attacked
risky,
there.
lots of yeah. No, I wouldn't have either. Lots of risky players.
Yeah, definitely. Oof.
Okay.
Well, that was actually tense because it felt like Reagan had a plan there and was gonna
Mm.
come back swinging. Um, okay, so this next one is one of your matches. So I think this is
Same. I think they're gonna feel a bit hard by that because I think they had that game. I think you just hold up the tap and they can't attack in with the rattle chains because they can't attack in with the phantom because the rattle chains will block it and trade.
it has really surprised me how rattle chains in particular can just completely turn these games around
Oh
and
yes.
and win out of nowhere, win things that you really should not be won.
Yeah.
Okay, so this one we have it is you. Um,
This versus the landfall deck again.
I'm trying to wrap my head around it because I didn't label these correctly beforehand.
You're back in 2 minutes. I'm just gonna
Okay,
go give my cat some food.
sure thing. Uh, okay. As saying, I told you guys never punished. Yeah, yeah. Variant G, I had lands. I was bluffing. I had nothing. Well, you got us. We both probably would not have attacked for lethal there, so it's a pretty good bluff. Um, yeah, if you had one off that bluff, that would have been hilarious. Because yeah, Brute seemed like he really had you that entire game, but right near the end, it got really close. I could feel the tension. Um, okay, so I think we'll wait a little bit for Callum to get back. I'm gonna go grab a drink very quickly. And we'll resume in just a moment. Ugh. Tin Street saying, I was so stressed throughout this entire tourney. I think I put way too much pressure on myself in playing. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. You're doing really, really well. It was really great to see that you made top 8s. Um, and looked like you're enjoying the deck too. So I was hoping it was going to be a lot more fun. I'm sorry that you find it so stressful. But hopefully as we get going with these tournaments and make them a more regular thing, you can start relaxing a bit more. There's a Mono Blue Spirits deck floating around our LGS also. Well, yeah, there should be. That's like one of the best decks. Everyone should be playing it.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
I was thinking that mono blue spirits matchup must be really fun to play. The mirror.
It can be. It's very rewarding, but like I got stressed just watching it because it's such a the decisions matter so much.
Perfect match to have a recording of and actually to be able to go back over it. You
Mm,
learn so much from these recordings.
absolutely.
I That was like when I progressed from a decent player to a medium, from a poor player to a medium player, was when I actually started just watching my recordings.
Yeah, I think it does help a lot. I actually need to do that more because there's a lot of points where I'll be like, um, I'll think about what happened in the match a lot, but it can be very difficult to pinpoint the actual point where a mistake was made or where a critical decision that sealed the match was made by one of the players. And sometimes when I think back on it, just without looking at the recording, I might attribute it to the wrong moment in the match. And
Exactly.
that's where watching it can really show a lot more. Most often I find like I'll be kicking myself for ages about a mistake, but then when I go back and rewatch the recording, I'll be like, actually acting on the information I had, this was
That
a
was
perfectly
fine.
fine
But
play.
like 2 turns earlier, I thought this was fine, and that was actually what caused it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm.
I think my matches against you in particular for the last few EGGs were a lot like that.
Yeah.
Um,
I push a lot of tempo.
yeah.
I do know that.
Um, since you're saying I really was enjoying the deck, Jimmy actually helped me put it together. Nice. Um, I'm glad that you two had fun with it. So you're saying, and also sometimes you blame yourself for a mistake and you actually didn't make one. Yeah, so that's what I was saying now. Okay, so we all good to start? Oh, sorry, it's round 3, not round 2. Typos. Alrighty, let's get going. So we have Abzan Greasefang again versus Gruul Landfall, 2 decks we've already seen in the tournament.
I was surprised to not see more Greasefang. I
Yeah,
feel like the deck is incredibly strong.
I mean, I would have joined you on Greasefang
Mm.
if I'd been able to play. I was actually testing it in the week on the off chance that I would have been able to play the tournaments, but then I thought, integrity of the event or some fluff like that.
I think you could have played perfectly fine.
I,
Next time.
I'd like everybody else to have fun, and I don't want it to be
I think
to
we've
look a bit
lost
dodgy. Yeah, I
lost
don't know
the
what's
feed.
happened with the video. There we go.
There we go.
Just had a bit of a buggy stitcher supplier there.
Mm.
Zene saying I tested it, but I just don't like the play patterns. That's Greasefang. I.
It is very much like that. Like, you can feel a lot of the times, yes, it's amazing. Also, you can feel a lot of the times, I'm doing nothing.
I So I play it on paper, and I actually did a recording from one of our LGSs recently that I put on our channel of me playing just 3 rounds of the deck, winning a small Saturday tournament, and I think it's a lot of fun. But then when I spam it in Pioneer and Arena, I must say it feels very, very different. I'm a little less keen on the deck then. Okay, so you're letting the Stitcher resolve first before doing the salvage. Any particular reason for that?
It doesn't really make a difference because the salvage doesn't fetch from in the yard.
Mm-hmm.
Just fetches from those cards.
Yeah, it does.
I want more information on what is in my yard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I've milled over I can let stitches mill over something, and then I can know whether I need Greasefang or in that case maybe the informant to draw a card.
I see we're doing almost perfect play here with getting the Greasefang on turn 3 to bring back a Chariot, not the Parhelion, not game winning, but we've still got a lot of cats and Chariot's back in hand now.
Many kitties.
How often did you end up winning games on average with your cats? Do you know?
Much more than I did with Parhelion.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
The Parhelion is like Parhelion is like your game 1 win. Game 2 and 3, you almost never win with Parhelion because the hate they bring in. As I said, with certain matchups, I actually even completely side them out, and it feels really good to just play the mid-range plan. Honestly, Esseka's Chariot is insane.
Yeah, it's a great card, and I can certainly, with what you were saying earlier about how valuable it was in Rakdos matchups, I can see that here.
Mm. Going up to 3 boat as well against mid-range plans is just nuts.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're contemplating getting very attacky in there, and then decided instead to just go with the Greasefang. But we've got an unexpected chump by a Hellhound. That's kind of
My
surprising.
one of the things about this Greasefang deck is if you don't notice it, your life total can
Yeah.
fall quite
And
quickly.
with the Sky
With
Sovereign and Shocklands in hand, you're obviously wanting to shock
Shocklands
next
and
turn.
Thought Seizers and
Mm. It, yeah, with playing with some similar cards in the modern food deck that I've got, it's very comforting with that deck because it's just so much incidental life gain, and it was something I was really missing when switching to playing Pioneer with Greasefang. Just there's virtually no life gain in the deck.
yeah.
Cleansing Wildfire at their own land. Okay, that's pretty cool. Tin Street saying so many kitties. Yeah. Look at this elemental though, it's huge. I wonder if you're going to chump with your chariot here. And that seems pretty sweet with the Greasefang on the board.
Mm, I think do I not have Liesel on the crackback anyway?
Quite possibly, but I mean, just putting in the bin gives it haste here, so
Yeah, so that's definitely what I see. I see the opportunity, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
Play with fire and a cat. It's unfortunate. Okay, so what are we looking at? 16 damage, just shy of lethal. But you can also just, for funsies, throw down a Sky Sovereign pre or post combat. Okay, we are just going on with the team. Okay, yeah, I was right. I was like, I was wondering a moment there if I did the math wrong. Okay, Sky Sovereign just to clean up the Brushfire Elemental. Nice. And more kitties. Wow, that's a lot of kitties. Zoe saying cats are the best. Yeah, you're wearing the crowd here with your
Yeah.
kitty factory.
You don't have to. I'm all about them cats. Yeah. So game 2 and 3 is basically Essex Chariot is your card in this deck in general.
Mhm.
What I enjoy doing is like these transformative sideboards, and I've only learned this now is to side out all of the Parhelians, and well, this matchup I don't see my opponent because they're on Gruul. They don't have access to that much graveyard hit. But a lot of the if I see them on black at all, almost I side out all the Can't Stairways and all of the Parhelians.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well, I haven't done the Parhelion transformation that often, but the Can't Stay Aways, you definitely feel a lot weaker when opponents bring in Graveyard Head.
You get to have, I find with 4 Issachar Chariot and 3 Boat, they have to answer the boat anyway,
Yeah.
or they're going to lose.
I
So
feel
generally, that goes into the yard naturally.
yeah, the extra Sky Sovereign here just, I feel, makes such a difference because now you can answer
Yeah.
the
Like I'm
Brushfire
playing
Elementals so well.
I'm playing 3 now per side.
Right. And taking out
Two main.
Thought Seizures makes sense, not something you want to draw after the stabilizing.
Yeah, just some early interaction.
Tin Street saying this is a dream come true for me. So he's saying many cats handle it, which is a World of Warcraft reference. I have converted her to a nerd. Tin Street saying all the kitties. So I see the Sorin in your hand. I was looking at it in your deck list just now. What are you feeling about Sorin? It's not a card I'm particularly fond with. Has it worked out for you?
So the Sorin is there for the passive effect, basically. It's a reanimation on a stick, but it gives everything that you have lifelink. I was expecting a lot more mono red.
Okay.
And we didn't see any. The Sorin is absolutely MVP in mono red. It's like ridiculous. Tickets the game because you immediately get back Greasefang plus anything that you have has lifelink.
This Witherbloom command looking really good here to take down that Hellhound.
Yeah, card is nuts. Taking out Hellhounds, taking out Elves. I went from thinking, okay, this is a sort of 3 of card to going, I want like 6 of these.
I have angered Zoe by saying I've converted her to a nerd. Tin Street saying prerequisites for nerdhood, seen all the Star Wars movies. Oh no. They're ganging up on me. Chat's ganging up on me. That's not very nice. Um, so I see you held back the with the Boom command here, which is gonna, be very unfortunate for this elemental.
Yeah, it's just sort of draw a card, develop.
Yep,
Like I don't mind trading off.
that's really good. And there's another Pylian in the bin. Oh, it's getting back Takanuma or Beseiju, just so good in these decks.
So Takanuma in this deck is actually incredibly good. I was saying earlier, I didn't get to finish quite. The you have a lot of legendary creatures.
Right.
Um, and what you can do often is in at the end of their turn, say you've got a Greasefang and a Essika's Chariot out, is you just crew the chariot for the cost reduction, 2 mana, two mana Takanuma, set up your next Greasefang turn.
Yep, that sounds really good. I'm a little surprised at the line here to go Informant. I would have thought you maybe just want to throw down a chariot.
So I'm trying to secure. I mean, chariot. The thing is, in this case, I'm just trying to find a Greasefang.
Sure.
Honestly, like the chariot is a safe long play. But I'm looking at I've got boat next turn.
Yeah, and that's going to answer the mammoth if no plus and plus encounters are involved.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to mull at the moment because, and then I was like, okay, I'm just trying to mull because I've got the Sorin. So once I mulled, I was trying to use the Informant to mull, and then I used that to mull. So that was
Right.
the play, so that I can then play Sorin the next turn.
Oh, of course, I'm forgetting that Soren's going to reanimate Greasefang, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so a very angry girlfriend in chat.
Yeah.
See, we're talking about Star Wars, and if reference is not counting, does that include Solo and the Holiday Special? Because I'm only missing those two. Sine weighing in, you can skip Solo. So he's saying, me a fan of Doctor Who, Star Trek, thousands of hours in video games, nerd culture. Gee, I wish I played WoW so I could be a real nerd. Okay, I'm sorry. You are
So
nerdier
now,
than
so
me.
now, so now you'll see the power sort of
The boat.
the boat. Although I didn't really need to, I could have just gone Sorin here as well.
What would you do with the Siren if you did that? Is there a Greasefang in the
Fine.
bin? Because I missed
There's a
it.
Greasefang in the bin.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
wow, okay, I missed when you milled that.
yeah. So that was what I was trying to. It was with the Witherbloom command last turn.
So,
I was just
the
concerned
life-
a bit. I was concerned about just being one shot at that point.
Siren's passive gives your attacking creatures lifelink.
Gives all your stuff lifelink. Creatures you control and planeswalkers you
Planeswalkers.
control have lifelink.
Okay, so then would it not have been, would it
100%
not have pushed
better.
you a bit further ahead to just go Siren, Greasefang,
100%.
Pavilion? Okay,
Yeah.
just checking.
Gain 13.
That is very cool, and that is something I would definitely be keen to look into doing myself.
Yeah, it's just against if you have the like. I was expecting a lot of mono red.
Yeah.
Because I felt it was horribly underplayed. So now you'll see here.
Yep. No, I agree. That sounds perfectly reasonable. I'd completely
Well, I mean,
forgotten
it was
about the
reasonable.
lifelink.
Because I should have done this last time.
Well, yeah, but once you do this, there's it's so hard for the Gruul deck
An
to be able
interesting
to catch
thing
up.
about the lifelink is obviously you gain double lifelink off the Parhelion if you do get to do it as well. If you don't, sorry, not Parhelion, off the Sky Sovereign.
Extra from shooting for 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow, that's all she wrote. Well done, that was a good game. Very nice to see just the singletons coming into action here. The Sorin doing so much work to just make
Yeah.
this game completely unwinnable for your opponent. Okay, so we have another breed.
We have a
playing-
blue-white control next.
no,
I recognize that now.
Dr. Evil's
That not-
Ricardo. Ricardo's playing
Yeah.
Rakdos, I believe.
With Jan Rakdos. Oh, okay.
I'm just checking this matchup. Yeah, it's Rakdos Midrange versus Mono Blue. I'll just.
Okay,
find
so
it
this-
quickly.
Unfortunately, I don't know the result of this, but I can only imagine the mono blue deck is going to struggle.
Yeah, this is one of the hardest matchups, and it's winnable, but it's very tricky. And Ricardo is a very experienced player. I'm sure he's probably played this deck to death. You're not gonna have a lot of room to capitalize on mistakes, which is how Mono Blue generally wins these matchups. Um, yeah, I think this is not a match I would want to see if I was on mono blue tempo.
Yeah, the amount of interaction that they have, even incidental interaction, things like Bone Crusher, it's just so painful because it was 2 for 1.
Yeah, and it can be very difficult to answer a Bone Crusher, and I've been in the unenviable position of bringing in Witness Protection just to not worry about a Bone Crusher for a while. That has not been great. Okay, so let's get going. Okay. It's not a terrible hand. We've got
What is it?
we've got a 1-drop, we've got a 2-drop Supreme Phantom or a Gaslight Snare, as needs dictates. Face the Haven's great.
Knowing the matchup, though?
Sorry?
Like, none of your cards line up against Rakdos here.
That's true, and we can see like a bit more of aggressive mulligan here to get a slip out the back, bottoming the third land.
At least some form of interaction, right?
Yeah, but we don't have any of the card draw. We don't have
Yeah.
we don't have.
Well,
a
at least
lot.
you look for it once at least, I think.
So yeah, obviously looking to drop down a Spectral Sailor for the surprise aspect. I'm kind of more a fan of just dropping Ascendant Spirits, but I guess 2 in hand means you could throw it down to the wow, I think there was a mistake there. It didn't drop the Spectral Sailor end of turn, just passed a turn. Maybe
definitely should have blocked this.
Well, maybe to keep up slip out the back to try to thwart Bone Crusher stomp. You can see your opponent thinking about a stomp here. Yeah, okay, it is.
Yeah, but I don't think. But your opponent doesn't stomp anyway at the end of their turn, right? Because otherwise you play a creature and you can protect it.
I think.
Or play a Curious Obsession. Or
if they were smelling the slip out the back, they might have. But I still agree with you that that's not a usual play. Graveyard Trespasser eating the Bone Crusher Giant. Nope, just eating slip out the back. And Combat Research not looking so great here. Really wanted a third land.
And try look for it with the Combat Research.
So you're pointing out that slip out the back has invalidated the Bone Crusher's creature side too, which is pretty good for a 1-mana instant. Yeah. We were just saying beforehand how Bone Crusher can be very tricky to deal with, and it's nice here to.
The problem is now without playing a creature in this,
what
you open yourself up to this thing doing a lot more damage.
What do you think about that? What about attacking? Because they can't block. If they block, you just tap out to pump your Ascendant Spirit.
So what I would have done there is actually I would have played the Combat Research and passed, and not let it flip to nighttime.
I don't know about the Combat Research when you have the Rattle Chains in hand. I would
have played
down an Ascendant Spirit.
Sorry, they don't have the counter spell. I was thinking they had Geistlight.
Yeah.
I would have played a 1-drop to prevent this flipping.
Yeah, same. Yeah.
Because this just prevents a lot of trades in the future. It's like it turns it to be sort of manageable to be completely unmanageable.
I mean,
now.
Even before that, though, I would have gone to combat and attacked, because if your opponent blocks, you've taken out the threat that you're worried about, and if they don't, they're taking free damage that you're not going to block anyway. I think that was.
Think of going Rattle Chains here and hoping for a land, so you go Phantom Combat Research next turn.
Yeah.
Start crack.
This does let you. It unlocks your hand.
But now you are opened up, like.
Yeah.
Bone Crusher, Fatal Push.
It is another Bone Crusher.
Yeah.
Wow.
This matchup is awful to play.
Okay, so.
You can Combat Research Supreme Phantom. It flips the. Sorry, it's 2 spells. They've already played 2 spells.
It's already flipped, yeah. So you just need to play 1 spell this turn. I think you just need to represent that you have. No, see. This is why I don't like this matchup, because the auras get so much worse, and to make these Ascendant Spirits actually represent what they can do here, you have to tap out to do so, and that means if they do have that removal spell, your creature's now sitting duck.
I mean, this is what Chandra, Fatal Push, Edicts from Lily.
Probably
you're
gonna
just
be something like that. It's
not
just gonna be pretty.
Basically half their deck at this point.
Zine's saying, really, I'm always so stressed as the Rakdos player. Look, it's a very even matchup, actually. Like, I think Rakdos is slightly favoured. But spirits can definitely win the match.
I think if you're in this kind of matchup, um, the dealing with stress thing, there's a couple of important things that really do help. Primarily, have confidence in in your deck. A lot of people stress up to every matchup. Um, Look at your deck, identify your game plan, go. This is one of the ways that I managed to deal with stress and helped a lot is look for certain board situations and just play towards those, knowing how to play from to and from those, and then it allows you to go on a lot of autopilot and make simpler decisions that might be a lot of game actions or whatnot, a lot easier to manage.
That's some really good advice. It's something I've really struggled with. Even just EGG tournaments, I get incredibly stressed playing in those. Um, and sorry, the Supreme Phantom post combat here, missing that land drop, it's keeping 4 1 drops in hand. Um, it's why lately I've kind of switched to playing decks that I have fun with um, more than trying to win a tournament. Okay, we see the Supreme Phantom getting upbraided there, and Ricardo's down to 1 card in hand. If Fable is going to offer
One card
a
has got like
switch.
he's got one card in hand. He's got a redraw on the
Yeah,
Tenacious Underdog. He's got a Bone Crusher in exile. He's got the
Fable.
Fable that makes sure the one card is useful. It's
Yeah,
the deck just infinite gas.
yep. And Fable not actually looting away the card here, so it's probably something good.
Yeah.
It's not looking good for our Monopoly Spirits here.
Ricardo just plays Bone Crusher. Yeah, it's just the damage. Your stuff just doesn't scale with it. Like you interact with a medium amount of interaction. Their interaction is just too much.
Yeah, and Breach just calling it there. Yeah, I wasn't looking forward to watching the end of that game, so I'm kind of relieved at that. Gonna be interesting to see the sideboard here. So you got more slip out the backs coming in, and seeing just quickly checking what opponents played. I like this. It's always nice to just see what exactly happened that game. What did my opponent do? Where did I lose control of the situation?
Do you bring in gusts? I don't know.
It's really hit and miss. Like I have done that before against Rakdos, but it
You sit
depends.
there and they play Graveyard Trespasser and
Yeah,
Fatal Push, and you're just
exactly.
like, well, shit.
It really depends on what their threats are, and if you can line this
Mm.
up against it. Same with like witness protection. Like sometimes that card's really great if you can take out like a Kalitas or I suppose a Shieldred. But a lot of the time it's just going to be really bad because you don't want to play it on Bone Crusher Giants unless you're racing, and it hurts a lot to put it on the Trespasser as well. That's why I quite enjoyed Attempted by the Auric as an answer. I still think I still have one in my Pioneer sideboard just because the card's surprisingly versatile.
I think you have 18 basic lands there. I think you just play Hinterland Harbors and
Shaper's Sanctuary.
Shaper's Sanctuary. You joke. I mean, it sounds like I'm
It's
joking, right?
you
I'm really not.
you can't for this deck the way it's currently built because of Ascendant Spirit
Sure.
and Faceless Haven. It just screws up the mana base too much. I don't even play Otawara because I don't want that screwing up my mana. Um, so
When the majority of it, so you've got to sort of balance out as well as going when you look at your matchup spread.
yeah,
Like if I go to my untapped at the moment, my matchup spread is currently about 1/3 of my games are against Rakdos.
mm,
So it's like yes, that does hurt my matchup with regard to playing Faceless Haven and Ascended Spirit. But at what point do you move into like the more old school traditional spirits and play um the if what I mean is you approach a tournament going okay, I love spirits but at the moment it's not friendly to it.
yeah,
I would rather try and play in this case maybe the banned spirits lineup or even just normal spirits with I think banned spirits is quite well positioned against Rakdos
yeah.
because
It's favored.
being able to do
Co-
the whole Coco
Coco
and
into answers is
yeah,
really really strong.
Yeah, and have obviously Shaper's Sanctuary, which is
Oh.
a huge deal.
So this is really interesting because we saw a very hard mulligan to a Curious Obsession hand, which
Yeah.
I don't like against a deck that's packed full of removal.
Well,
I thought both of previous hands were actually fine.
I don't think it's a problem. I don't think you play turn one Wanderer though.
You
I think
think
you
you can
have.
back slip out the back and
I
then
think
rattle
you always
chains?
play. Yeah, I think you always play one mana back, and this is what I was trying to say earlier about this deck against Rakdos. Is I think you have to play one mana back at all times.
Hmm.
I think you played on turn two with a slip out the back. Then when they
Oh,
tried, oh, I mean
it's
that's just
painful.
you play the
Um,
rattle chains though.
you have to, but then it's gonna get stomped. We know it's gonna get stomped. Zune saying I look at his gust and thought it was super sus in the meta. And you
Yeah,
get paired
not cast
against
in the
a
meta.
mono green deck. You're
Uh,
just laughing.
no, but against mono green, there's another card that you play instead. So if you like, if that's the only reason, if it's mono green, there's a 2 mana bounce a green permanent to draw a card.
Oh,
That's
yeah, that
that's
is very good. Yeah.
yeah, that's an incredible. When I was struggling against mono green, I just put two of those into. Yeah, okay, this is just
Ah, so it
awful.
chose not to play the rattle chains. Not even gonna risk there being a stomp. Just like I'm convinced there is one, and
I
it's
think
just
with your
backfired.
hand, I think with your hand, you have to make them have it.
Yeah, you had to
You
have
you
done
don't
it.
have anything else. You don't have anything else,
Yeah.
right?
So it's really unfortunate here. Variant G also saying witness protection does help with making Geistlight cheaper. That's completely true.
Yeah.
That is a huge upside, and it's why I liked the second hand quite a lot because we had witness protection, a Geistlight, and some creatures. It looked pretty, robust hand. Um,
Do you know what else make Geistlight cheaper? Wait, what is Geistlight? If you have is an
Enchantment or Spirit.
enchantment?
A Spirit
You know
is
what else
one.
makes you know what else makes it cheaper?
Curious Obsession.
Shaper Sanctuary.
Oh my god! Walked into it. I mean, look, there's an argument to do something like that because currently we have too many one drops. Ascendant Spirit is not strictly needed anymore because of Mausoleum Wanderer now being an explorer. I think you could definitely build a deck with Mausoleum Wanderers, Spectral Sailors as your one drops, splashing a bit of green, not relying on Faceless Haven, and not relying on
So
the
Green Splash, you get to play
Ascendant
Coco.
Spirit. Yeah, so you could go Coco and Shaper Sanctuary, maybe.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
It's the thing of like yes, my deck is good in a vacuum, but you can expect a certain metagame.
Yeah.
And in this case, it ended up like with the EDG event. We expect a lot of Rakdos. It was underrepresented.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
here you can expect a lot of Rakdos again, and then all of a sudden you come into a tournament where 6 out of the 14 decks are Rakdos.
Oh, I feel bad for Breed here. Like you've seen twice now, he's opened up to concede 3 times. Okay, letting the duress resolve.
I think you had to play that Shacklegeist and
Yeah,
sorry, the Wanderer,
it
the
was rattle chains.
Rattle Chains, and you just had to make them have it because.
Mm. Badger saying if you splash enough green, you can play mono green instead. It's true. Mono green
Yeah.
spirits. I did actually look at what spirits are in green a while back, and there are some interesting ones. Okay, there's the
Oh,
concession.
if you're in blue green, Merfolk is looking quite cool as well.
Yeah, that new the new lord is pretty sweet. I opened an extended art foil that I'm quite happy with. Um, that what is it? I've got it here. Medallion something or another. Hex
Probably
catcher.
I was gonna say it's hex something
Yeah,
since
it's
it's the one
really.
tax.
I really like that. Everything's a curse catcher. Okay, so I'm just
We've
gonna
got. So
pause.
this is this Blue Spirits again?
Blue Spirits again, and now it's against Sadness. That's Zune who ends winning the tournament. So it's Rakdos midrange.
Oh, shame.
Just gonna take one moment to turn the lights on.
Sure. Well done, Zane. You picked the right deck. Although having said that, I wouldn't have changed my deck choice.
Having said
I
what?
would. Having said, I was just saying Rakdos being the strongest deck. I wouldn't. Having said that though, I wouldn't change my deck. I would love to play this event again with my
Mm.
newfound knowledge of how to actually play the matchup.
Yeah, I definitely get that too. I think okay, well, all that we change is it changes from round 3 to round 4, and then we have a different play on Rakdos midrange. Shame.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have loved to be in this tournament. I think it's
Would you have played Greasefang?
I probably would have, just because I've been pretty big on it lately, but I was also exploring with some other decks as well. Like, I think you and I have both been trying out Enigmatic Incarnation.
Yes.
And I think that deck's great and really smashes the Rakdos matchup.
Yes, completely.
I feel, but then I say that...
Loses to Greasefang.
Well, yes, but did you notice in the tournament we did have a Enigmatic Incarnation list played by Jeho, and it just didn't quite make it. It was beaten by Rakdos twice, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what happened in those matchups because I think, where's my Incarnation? Let's take a look at my Incarnation.
Okay, so Zune saying don't judge game 1. I can't count. This is going to be interesting. Zoe saying he needs to counter and he does that for me. Mono red player. Yeah.
Math is for blockers.
Math is for blockers. Zune, I was the blocker. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so my Incarnation setup, it was I still went 50 and 20, the 70% win rate, and I was 10 and 3 against Rakdos. I felt very, very favored. Yeah.
This is a really strange keep to me. Like, I would actually keep this as well, but I hate doing so. And Bloodbath Harvester, not what you want to see, because that's something that's going to end whatever you put that obsession on. And we drew the land. Okay.
Right. So you let them blood tithe, and then you slip it, right?
Yeah, you're
but then they can and just hope they don't have a bone crusher or something.
Or that they just swing it.
or any of their three removals.
Yeah, it's a bit of a ballsy play. I think I would have been a little more comfortable just throwing down the Wanderer and swinging for one, not beating up
Your
the
opponent
obsession
definitely tries this. Cool.
Here we go.
Do you slip?
I think
knowing that your thing's gonna kill.
I think you have to force it, because otherwise you've just lost a 2 for 1.
Well, I mean, the thing is, you actually have. I don't know if you do in this one, because you actually have a lot of backup. You've got rattle chains, you've got all of that.
Yeah, but you want that rattle chains and stuff to just protect the same creature again, because you snowball, you win if you just get the slip off. And it was not to be. Probably just Wanderer, keep up Geist's Light or a rattle chains.
Just hold up everything and try rattle chains and Wanderer in response to maybe a Chandra.
Yeah, exactly. I must say, we were also in chat earlier saying how Breach was never punished. Well, he just got pretty massively punished. It was a very greedy start to the game, and it all fell apart right there.
To be honest, he just got Rakdos.
Well, yeah, and you're expecting Rakdos to have a lot of removal spells, but it did.
Them having the free removal of the Harvester is just very difficult.
Yeah, I think that changed the math for me. That's when I was like, I wouldn't really start off with the aggressive start that was clearly being advertised.
Yeah.
So you're saying math is when you have a Torbrand and a Bosch and Embercleave and you want to know if you should record because your opponent is going to go down to negative 100. Yep. So no, that is a good use of math too. Yep. Some more rattle chains here, but only 3 lands. Would really like to see another Curious Obsession. Okay.
I think at this point you're looking, as the mono blue player, you're not actually looking too terrible. You're looking at that den and looking at that as a big issue. Like, I think you just fire up den and go.
I don't know, like if opponent does fire up den and go, you're just going to flash in the rattle chains and block, and then they're tapped out, you've taken out the den.
Yeah.
And
you've lost your rattle chains and taken 4 damage.
One of your 3 rattle chains.
Sure.
This is this is kind of the worst play though, because no.
What?
Rattle chains.
Why?
I don't know.
But you've got the Mausoleum Wanderer if they try double spell, right?
This feels very, very, very bad. I'm not sure. I would definitely have just gone rattle chains protect from cuts.
And then when they try go again,
this is how you win the match.
100%.
I wonder
I think
now. I assume you're gonna have to let the Croxer resolve and just discard what Geistlight. This feels so awkward though.
so the thing is, right, playing the Rattle Chains there gave you protection against double spells because growing the Wanderer allows it to counter the next thing that they're trying to spell.
Mm-hmm.
Um, mm, yeah.
Yikes. So we're not sure exactly how many cards in that bin, but I'd imagine Crox is probably not live yet, but will be soon. Okay, so Bone Crusher just really getting for slightly more damage than the spirits are dealing here.
Noxious as always.
And as you point out, the Den threatening, the Ribbons also in the graveyard. And there's a Chandra. That's terrifying. But if Chandra minuses, she's gonna not live for very long. As the next thing, I don't think Croxy ever comes live this game. Oh, that's spoilers. But
Yeah,
sure.
this is what should have happened the last turn.
Yeah.
This sequence of play.
So here we have very nice protection for me, and I get to take out your Chandra. And
Yeah.
drawing an Ascendant Spirit, that's like possibly the best pickup here as well. Um, I was wondering if there's any need to like flash in the Ascendant Spirits to deal a bit of extra damage, but this is the one turn you don't want to do that because you need to just deal 1 damage to Chandra.
You need to deal 1 damage to Chandra.
I think I probably would just because of Cut to
Is,
Ribbons.
is 7 to 8 a big difference in clock?
Cut to Ribbons, if there was a land that might have been... Okay, it would have been 1 off lethal.
Yeah, it was 1 off, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't change the clock at all.
Yeah, that is true.
Like, you definitely on a
Off.
clock. Like, yeah, you see, even this is what I mean.
But I do like that the Ascendant Spirit's now in hand. So... the Rakdos player doesn't know about it yet. Okay, it was a land. So that would have been Ribbons for 1 less than lethal.
Yeah. So I think the 1 damage would have mattered. Does he have lethal without it? Is he 1 off? 5, 6, 7? No, he still has lethal, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Because he can pump it to flying.
Yeah, I think this should be game here. Under combat research. Yep. There we go. Wow, that was surprisingly tight. Geez, the Rattle Chains plays just really kind of broke my mind there.
Yeah, I think that they know that
But
mistake.
you could see also that Sadness was really flooding there.
Which is what happens if you don't draw Fable in that deck.
And look,
So it leans so heavily on Fable to clean out the...
The Ribbons was, 1 off lethal that turn though, if Chandra had survived, so really... Sine's saying I should have just killed with Chandra at lethal anyway. Yeah. I think that would have changed the math quite a bit there. Would have been the spreads would have been 1 off lethal itself then. So
yeah, so it's like if you're holding the Chandra there and they're presenting all of the mana open for interaction. I think you just push Chandra up. Obviously, it changes the clock. You would have had lethal, but also what it does is it forces them to send 5 at the Chandra, especially having a second Chandra in hand.
What do you think about the sideboard? I've noticed this is at least the second time that Breed has cut a Faceless Haven going in game 2 against Rakdos.
Sorry, say again?
I've noticed that this is the second game I think that Breed has cut a Faceless Haven in game 2 against Rakdos. What do you think of that?
I don't agree, because I think that if you're scared of Fatal Push is hitting everything anyway, right?
I wouldn't cut a land. pretty much ever.
Like the only reason you cut Faceless Haven, I can imagine, is you get a Fatal Push.
And the hearse here, like I've played with hearse or similar graveyard hate cards in my Spirit sideboard, and I virtually never bring them in.
Not in this match. I wouldn't at all. It's against Greasefang or something like that.
The one hate card I would bring in is Cemetery Illuminator, which I've really been enjoying as tech.
Worth noting here, they did the thing where we were saying where you hold up your spells to build.
It's quite nice. But this underdog representing, quite a clock. Okay, Crocs.
You love to see that.
I'm not a huge fan of Crocs in this matchup.
Get to toss your hearse.
Well,
hearse isn't going to get played. Like hearse is not a problem at all in this.
I guess the hearse is wanting to eat the Croxer, so that's why we're not seeing the hearse.
Well, I mean, like I suppose I wouldn't play hearse to begin with.
Yeah, exactly.
In the specific.
I think you're very much, if you brought in the hearse for Croxer, you're probably not tossing the hearse to Croxer.
Holding up Rattle Chains. This is looking really good for the blue player, I think.
I'm not sure.
I think taking 3 from the Croxer there actually might have changed their clock significantly.
Exactly. That is the one concern I have, that there's a 3-2 on the board, you've taken 3 from Croxer, and your opponent's at the stage where they can start double spelling stuff, and all you've got is the Rattle Chains. Yeah, and that's not going to do anything to Shieldred. Well, in fact, Shieldred's massively punishes the card draw from Curious Obsession.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is absolute disaster for Spirits.
I'm assuming we go to game 3. I don't see how Spirits gets out of this.
Yeah, you want your Witness Protection to deal with Shieldred, and I don't think those were brought in. Like, even if you go Shackle Guys here...
It doesn't change the clock. You're looking at 2 man lands.
Yeah, you can't really swing in anymore. It's...
Yeah, the Menace man land plus the draw. No, this is... Yeah, no, I don't think... So with Croxer being the only card there, I don't think you toss a land. I think you toss the hearse and just hope to be able to race them.
Yeah.
Obviously, with Shieldred landing, it's impossible now.
That's why I hate bringing in Graveyard Hate with this deck, because it feels like you're always wanting to race.
You have to do it against Greasefang, because you can't race Greasefang.
You counter. There's so many counters in the deck. I would far rather just go with a counter spell game plan against Greasefang. You beat them, you just counter the critical spell. Granted, I haven't played against the Abzan version in a while.
They have 8 or 7 hand removal here. They just take your counter spell.
Yeah, it's true. So I'm basing what I was saying more against the Esper version. And that could be completely erroneous then. Looks like...
Misty, what is my...
Lethal on board.
Blue matchup. I'm 100% against blue in 5 matches.
Okay.
I feel like that's just... although I feel that's actually like leaning on Witherbloom command as much as the other things.
Witherbloom is very good in that matchup.
Yeah. I distinctly remember actually just using -1/1 or whatever and drain. Not even milling myself.
I
just
did that
draining
too.
to gain life.
I did that on a Mausoleum Wanderer though. And they didn't sacrifice it.
So they allowed you to get the drain.
Yeah. I felt insane. So cheeky. Okay, so got a game 3. Nice. It's a pretty nice hand. Got the Wanderer slip out the back and Curious Obsession. And we should be off to the races here, right?
I mean, it's
a pretty great start.
You managed to dodge the turn 1 fiddle push, right?
Yeah, the red hand coming down, it must have felt really good.
Yeah. I don't know why the Rakdos player didn't play the black land first. I'm assuming they just drew.
Was no,
presuming they just drew the lair, right? Because even if you don't have it, you present the fatal push.
Yeah. That's really...
I think this is right.
Yeah.
I think this is right.
I think so too.
You grow it out of Stomp.
I do it for turn, says the Rakdos player. So yeah, there we go.
Yeah,
We've got the
that
Fable
makes
smoothing
sense.
out the hand. And now the Wanderer's back. Everything's faced back in. Nice and neat. This combat research must surely go into the Phantom, right? Yeah. And then we are actually going to momentarily tap out for another Phantom, getting super aggressive.
Yeah, I think this is 100% correct.
8 damage.
I do. I think.
Okay, drawing 2 cards here. Okay, and we also get a Spectral Sailor. That's really good.
I think the blue players played this very well.
Yeah.
I do like the sequencing. You took the risk of them not having the turn 1 pedal push,
like
but at the same time make them have it.
The only criticism was like it was a very aggressive turn 1.
Yeah.
When you did have the slip.
Yeah.
But it's paid off, it seems.
Yeah.
So here we have the Shaman getting in.
Whenever this thing just attacks, just presents so much on its own.
Yeah, it's interesting because like
you can't block.
Do you want to block and risk a stomp?
Can't block.
It's probably just not worth it.
Definitely not.
And there's the Chandra.
Now the question is, does he plus or minus, right?
I guess it must be minus.
He has to minus and just take the risk because he's so far behind.
Okay, so one Lord cleared out. I assume we're
they're coming in end of turn.
Is it Fatal Bush? Oh
it is.
No! Oh no!
Not game by any means.
No, but we've set back so much.
Yes.
I drew it for turn off the Fable draw. Yeah, that's insane.
Nice. That's what I was saying about Fable, eh?
Yeah, Fable really smoothing out the deck here.
It's absolutely nuts. Alright, so you send in Phantom.
I think you should kill the Chandra, yeah.
You send in that to face.
Really wishing that we had one of those faceless havens here. If only we hadn't sideboarded one of them out.
I think it's fine. You've got a mana sink, right? You've got the draw.
Yeah,
mana
no,
sink.
It's completely fine. I'm such a fan of the faceless haven, getting in for 5 damage here and there. It's Goblin Shaman doing work.
It's this card.
So
That's Shieldred. If they just land a Shieldred now, is that just game for them?
Probably. I mean, you
see how strong it is, eh?
Yeah. I'm not sure about this. I'm wondering if
do you want to draw?
Instead, you want to just draw because and they're holding something, just passing here. But I guess you.
I like that it allows you to play the Shacklegeist as well.
Exactly, and it is kind of defensible. In
that so play Shacklegeist, tap them down.
You don't need to.
Not that it matters. Yeah, not that it matters.
But that is exactly what he's doing. Nice. It would matter if you had a Faceless Haven.
Faceless Haven would be lethal. Yeah. But they've clearly got something through it as well.
Another
Bone Crusher. This deck has just got so much interaction, man. It's not fair. They're looking at 4 damage.
Oh, there's the Faceless
There's the Haven.
Okay, but what's happening here?
You go in for 4.
Yeah, there's a lot of damage. I can't believe how outplayed that just went though. Like, went from a really good board stage twice to just nothing.
Well, he's got to play something else, because otherwise he's going to just lose, right?
Yeah. Oh. I'm surprised to see this.
I would hold up even bluff interaction, because you know your opponent's going to swing in for 4 next turn, right?
Yeah, I'd consider copying the Goblin Shaman.
Yeah. Yeah, if you're going to copy something, I'd copy the Goblin Shaman.
Just to get an extra treasure and say like, oh, what is this? I actually made 4 mana this turn.
Yeah, I animate Faceless Haven here every day.
I think, yeah,
if they want to push it, that's fine, right? Because he's swinging lethal back.
And they'd have the treasure to push it on your turn anyway. So
Yeah.
you want to just
Well,
block to get rid of
they
that.
don't need the treasure. They've got mana open.
I mean that they can sacrifice in their turn,
Yeah, yeah.
to like push something bigger if they need to.
Is there anything bigger than 2 in this deck?
In my one, I don't think in this one. No.
Demetri Illuminator or something.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of
Yeah.
Illuminator. It just answers a lot.
Yeah.
And giving it flash with Rattle Chains so you can pick off Parhelion and stuff is just super sweet. Phoenixes. Powered kill. Okay, that feels really bad. Because now, yeah, and, excellent play. Now the Faces Heaven can't win. We lost the Shardless. We couldn't tap down the last blocker. We draw another land. Awkward sauce.
You have to swing. This is bad.
Yeah.
That land draw.
You swing.
Oh
but it's
my
gonna
gosh.
be...
The blue players got so flooded.
Yeah. It happens a lot with this deck though. The crackback next turn heading in for... Is that lethal? No.
He can only hit for 4, right?
Yeah. Or, slightly more. I guess Chandra's just gonna end this Phantom. Sad. All these Rakdos games kind of feel, really, really sad that they just, slowly wipe the life force out of whatever they're playing against.
They just outgrind us so much interaction. Bone Crusher has been a problem since fucking Eldraine.
Yeah.
Eldraine. What a set!
Validated everything with 2 toughness.
What is it? Eldraine.
Speaking of, I have a box of Eldraine for one of our future events as well, so that should be pretty fun.
Yeah. Team at only Eldraine. Oh wait, that's basically where we are.
Well, no, we have Graveyard Trespasser.
Yeah. I mean, I play what do I play in Modern? The food deck. It's like Eldraine plus MH2. Okay.
Yeah. It's why I like it too. I really enjoyed Eldraine, despite it being
Eldraine plus Asma nonsense. Asma and Sargonon.
Yep. And there we have lethal. We have a blocker, but it's just not enough. There's so much damage coming through.
Yeah.
Wow, that's unfortunate. Seeing the GGs. Okay. Intense match, and that's the end of the Swiss then. So now I think we can start.
So it's showing just how resilient it is.
Yeah, definitely. So this is.
You're about to see the biggest floods. I have a 20 card deck. I have a 20 card deck. Let me just say this as a disclaimer going into this match.
20 card deck?
20 land deck. 20 land deck. Going into this matchup. But this happens. I'm sorry, it's not going to be very entertaining.
No, it's all good. That's what we're here for. See the pain and suffering and, all the rest.
Makes us feel better about ourselves, eh?
Something like that. And I have someone we have not seen any of the videos yet today. This is Linux. And the deck is... Oh, it is Rakdos Midrange. We're just going to leave that second player on Rakdos Midrange always.
Yeah, I think we can do that. That's very safe.
Okay. So he's saying covers tall Brandon and cleaves ears. Shh, my darlings, don't listen to them. Yeah. When are you going to play Mono Red again, Zoe? It's been a while.
I thought Mono Red was going to show up a lot more in this event. I really thought it was good.
Yeah. I was trying to convince Zoe to play as well because I thought it was, a fine pick. But I don't think we had any players on Mono Red, is that right?
Oh no, there was none.
Zine's, so he's saying when my time comes, and Zine's saying I think Mono Red is cope, honestly. Please don't ban me. Oh, it thought he's
I,
taking a can't stay away.
yeah, that's a bit weird.
Well, I, I, yeah, that's a very strange pick. But I've also had opponents do that a lot to me. So I don't know. Maybe they know something more than I do. Okay, nice draw of the Concealed Courtyard to avoid some pain. Going for the Ravine's Informant Conniving.
And had I known what I know now, I probably would have tossed the land there.
I was gonna say, like, the no fear, just pile in the bin.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean,
Graveyard
I'm not gonna hardcast this
Trespasser,
thing.
yeah.
It's not the trespass I'm concerned about. It's just like I was trying to get to 5 mana for boat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this makes life very difficult.
Yeah, this is a play draw situation, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because the other way around, I get to now play Thorin and get back my Rafine's Informant, which changes the matchup entirely, right?
Also just
No
feeling
good.
that Trespasser some more.
No good options here.
Greasefang and Bin, oh no. You hate to see it.
In this case, it's not so bad because it means that his Trespasser will target.
That, yeah.
Yeah, and then I get to at least get some value of the Thorin. But I think he plays a second Trespass.
So you're saying bans in a reason, wrong opinions. The Scorch Spitters will deal with you. It's been a while since we've seen a Scorch Spitter.
I think Embercleave's a really good place to be right now in Explorer.
Right. I wonder if actually that turn 1 Thoughtseize to deal with Can't Stay Away was specifically to get value on the Trespasser exiling stuff.
On the play, I think that's fine. Although, yeah. Nah, I can't get behind it.
Fable coming down, just
and
generating
me having drawn only lands.
All lands, yeah. That's all you need. That's all you need.
Just all lands, all that.
Yeah, unlike Cat Card. Yeah, tossing a Thoughtseize. Interesting.
He knows most of my hand at this point.
He knows 2 of the 4 cards, I guess.
Yeah. And he's got my bin locked up.
That's true. Oh no, the video's gone. There we go.
There it comes back. Exiling the Greasefang.
Yeah, that's really sad. Trespasser just does such work. Okay, he's smelling a trap here, I see. Fatal Push? No? No?
No fatal.
But then why attack? I'm confused.
Get a second
Okay,
Trespasser?
just a second Fable. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
See, at this point, like, if I had drawn anything other than lands, we're looking good.
Yeah, I mean, you are.
I hate Parhelion in this matchup. I hate it.
Yeah,
Just a dead card.
there's no Trespass anymore at least. I have won matches by just hard casting Parhelion, which does not feel particularly good.
Rakdos doesn't allow you to put too much pressure on. Although this does help since everything has lifelink.
Yeah.
The nice thing about this is it doesn't come back with a text that if it dies it gets exiled.
Yeah,
like, can't stay away.
That's why I used to run a Revival, because it just was a more flexible way to do that.
I think at this point I look at it and I go, it is entirely likely that I'm going to end up hardcasting this part here.
Yep. Do I really want to toss this? I've got 7 lands, we just need 1 more, let's go.
Yeah.
The known one. Tossing away, sorry, the unknown one.
I think he does have a fatal push on this one.
Oh, really? So that would explain the attack, but then just holding it back. I don't know. I guess you're really worried about. Oh,
Yeah, I
okay,
don't.
as eliminates. That makes sense.
Yeah, so I don't understand that because you eliminate in response to me targeting the cat, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just deprive you of one cat token.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it deprives me of 2, right?
Yeah. I mean, one more then.
Oh yeah, one more.
And Fable's now setting in. This is looking at bad news time. Fable's looting away lands. Don't you wish you were splashing a bit of red there?
More Fables.
Oof. Poor Siren. Siren did no wrong.
Yeah, looking at all the Fables resolving, the Parhelian's not going to come down fast enough. I wonder if there was another game plan that I had. If I could have besaged the active Fable here, might have been a good idea.
I mean, your opponent's life points are fairly low.
Can jump forever once these Fables have resolved.
Yeah, and you really want this informant to die so that you can't stay away. I guess that was maybe
yeah, tapped the wrong
last turn, yeah.
Screwed the wrong. Yeah, I don't know what I'm. Oh, I'm holding Beseju for in case I drew an untapped land.
Yeah, I mean, it is an out. I don't know though. These Kikijiki's gonna get pretty massively out of control.
It's like I'm a turn behind the whole game. It's so difficult.
And looting away more land.
Most of us flooding, I guess. Except he's got Fable, which takes it away.
Turns it into more Fables.
Yeah.
He's still on 20 hertz. Pretty good.
I do want to get that torment in the bin, right?
I was gonna say yes, but then also like, I wonder if here you want to actually just take all the damage, Beseju the untapped Kikijiki.
Probably should have besaged
you can actually go in for lethal.
Yeah, probably should have besaged the Kikijiki. Well, I was never gonna go in for lethal. I should have besaged one of the Kikijikis at one point.
Oh, you'd represent lethal, but you probably wouldn't connect because of the one Goblin Shaman. Oh, okay, but Bone Crusher changes the math a bit too significantly. Why not take out a cat? That would have...
I don't know. The whole game.
Okay. Also, like, doing this pre-combat would have represented
at any point
quite a bit
I
more
drew
damage.
Greasefang, if at any point I drew a Greasefang or anything like that, the game was over.
Stitches Supplier, I would be very hopeful with Stitches Supplier and
just hit
two
me
cast
something.
airways. Oh,
Nope.
okay. That's certainly a thing that can happen.
Although we got a couple more looks. Now it's like, do I play the 5-mana or the 2-mana one?
Yeah.
It still gives me Greasefang as an out.
Yikes.
Nope, just more lands.
I mean, in theory, you could try to do Parhelion stuff, but it just, it doesn't feel good. And now Chariot can't really attack. Yeah, the Bone Crusher just completely changed the line from, I thought like this is the moment where you go aggressive, and just can't anymore.
I tree here and then I decide not to attack.
Oh, you did attack.
Yeah. Oh, I want him to block with the Bone Crusher because
Yeah,
I don't want him
copy
copying it
all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he should just let it through. Honestly.
Just jumping it to be safe.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think he even needs to jump it, right?
Doesn't need to, but
yeah, let it through. Yeah, I should have besaged one of the Fable. I was holding it for to hardcast for Helion.
Yeah.
That's all. That's why.
I think you need to commit to one of the others, though.
Yeah. Well, I was committing to the Parhelion, yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, you
but
haven't because you didn't play the land out.
Yeah, well, at this point, it's just time.
I think that might have been the only out though, but
Mm.
yeah, it feels bad, particularly drawing Trespasser, which just keeps going at the graveyard again.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, once they play the Trespasser, it's game.
Yeah.
Because my out was sort of like doing a Greasefang thing. Because they didn't have any graveyard hate for most of the game.
So he's saying if a giant crushed my bones, I think that would that would impact how I spend the rest of my day. Yeah. Bone Crusher OP, please nerf.
I mean, I still have the out of blocking with Stitches,
But now you
drawing
can't
into...
resurrect.
Yeah. No, I mean, drawing into... Yeah, exactly. No, I can, because he's tapped out with his Fables, right?
But how are you going to resurrect because they took out the card stairways?
But no, I mean, like, I could draw into Greasefang.
Sure. But I mean, the blocking with supply is not necessarily an out anymore. Nowhere near as appealing as it was just a moment ago.
Yeah, for sure. Like, please give me a Greasefang and or a Parhelion in the yard or something. But no. It was fun. Hey, it's just Fable, man. Just Fable doing Fable thing.
Fable too strong.
Fable very strong.
It's interesting to pop here.
Yeah, it should have been
one last
a few
attack.
turns earlier.
Yeah, I think there's just a bit of indecision.
Yeah, I don't ever want to be on the Parhelion plan.
Yikes, tap land.
So that's the thing about this deck, is a lot of the lands, 8 of the lands are
Fast lands.
fast land.
Yeah, this is probably just not worth it.
So this is where I needed to learn these sideboards, and I wish I had known it. So we had a sideboard bug,
Snap.
which is fine. We just restarted the game.
Okay. I didn't notice that. Sorry, I was just coming in the recordings earlier.
WhatsApp quick. Oh man, I wish I could replay this.
It's the downside to watching the recording, I guess.
No, I mean just with the experience of knowing how to play against Rakdos now.
Yeah, I think it's the same
Because
thing.
I think I kept in the graveyard stuff.
Sorry, oof. Have Watsy even acknowledged it?
I mean, you don't need to. You don't need to. It's just because a lot of the people in this event wanted to do this friends list challenge situation. If you do direct challenge, it doesn't happen. So yeah, just get used to it. It's a direct challenge is already easy, guys. Just in melee, you click on the person's username, it copy pastes it.
Yeah,
really easy.
I remember the first bunch of AGG tournaments I did. I was quite obsessive that I wanted everything to be a direct challenge.
Yeah.
Also, because I didn't want to have like a million people on my friends list.
Your friends list. Yeah. I like to have no one.
Okay. Now I don't feel so sniped.
No, not at all.
But yeah, I've given up on that more recently, especially as someone who's trying to organize these tournaments. I've said, okay, if you want to be friends, then that's cool with me. It's fine. You can see me playing at unreasonable hours.
I think that's why I don't like specifically like having no one.
I noticed. I think you were on Dota just before we started playing. Started doing this recording.
Yeah. With you.
So you're saying Monkey's Paw Curls, and Zane saying it only happens to me when I use direct challenge. Okay, interesting. That seems to be the opposite of your experience.
Never had it with a direct challenge.
I've had it a bunch of times in all kinds of different forms, and Zoe and I did extensive testing before some of the previous EGG tournaments to try to figure out which play mode was better, and then it would still sometimes randomly get us. So it's frustrating.
That was okay. So the thing is, because these semifinals were untimed.
Right. So we had to have the,
so it wasn't tournament mode. Tournament mode doesn't do it. So that's why now I challenged him back in tournament mode. Yeah. So and I just said, listen, the time is not an issue. So in this case, I should have decided in that. Cool. Uh, I don't actually have a very good sideboard against this. My sideboard now is much
You
better.
see
I
Shapeless
would have liked it to have
Sanctuaries.
it. Yeah, I would have liked the third Shapeless Sanctuary, which I've got now, and the
Terrasun is to deal with Kikichiki, I guess.
yes,
Um,
yes.
s-
So what I should have done is side out all three of the con stairways.
oh, okay, yeah, yeah, I can see that easy, yeah. Um, so you're saying it's nice to have the chat option too for matches. That's true. It is a nice, relaxed thing about doing the friends list invite. It
When you
feels much more relaxed.
when you have it, when you have it, all these events are in MTG Melee. There's a literal chat
Hmm.
box in MTG Melee.
Yeah,
It's the same. It's the same thing.
it is, but I certainly have had some opponents who really don't use that chat box. And as administrator for this event, I did see so many people just not checking in for their matches and still completing them. So I don't know. People seem to have a bit of an aversion to melee.
To help a few people, but like when people get used to it,
Yeah.
yeah, that's not a keep.
Okay. Double Scousar on there.
White
So
Double
now,
Sky Sword is amazing against. This is what you want against. Probably should have kept that and tossed the Rafine's Informant.
oh really?
Yeah, no white source.
Yeah, I got that, but you're
I
hoping
mean,
the Grizzly hits it, I
salvage.
assume.
But the thing is,
Um,
they can Thoughtseize salvage, right? And then I'm stuck with Informant
right.
in my hand.
Okay, that makes sense. So now you also said the only safe place is setting a limited challenge. Um, so he said like the arena
Tournament
message is
match.
just right there, and even
Yeah,
people don't notice those. Yeah, it's all true. Drew the white land. Nice.
through the white land. Still gonna try salvage.
Yeah.
The game plan is just to try get Sky Sovereigns down.
Yep.
That card is insane against Rakdos.
Okay. We don't hit any of the additional stuff we want to do here with the Grizzly
Mm,
salvage.
not really trying to do much other than get 5
Yeah.
mana
Well,
and
in
play
an ideal world, we
but
get Greasefang and Cat card or something.
yeah, for sure, for sure. But I'm quite happy with just hitting my land drops
So,
at this point.
do you want to just throw down the Rafine's Informant as to represent a
I don't
blocker?
really want to get rid of a card.
Yeah, I get that too, but are we wanting to just take some damage in the meantime? Hoping the
So the
Scousar
thing
makes
is,
it
right?
good.
If I keep him honest here and he plays anything, I can salvage into and still get the whole combo right.
Mhm. Okay, that makes
Let's
sense to
take a
me.
look what happens. Because I'm still on plenty life.
I like your explanation for the double Scar Sovereign keep. It makes a lot of sense to me, and it's really cool actually seeing that happen.
Yes, I only have one white source
There's
still.
another white source, but it's tapped.
Although
Still,
it's
that's
so
pretty
awkward.
good.
Yeah, but we have to play the tapped one because I want to play Sky Sovereign
Yeah,
next turn.
exactly. Cat cards. Do we toss the informants? But we need something
Yes.
to crew. Yeah, cats can cruise Scar Sovereigns.
Yep.
Wow, just imagine cats taking over a floating battleship.
I think at this point I just go. He doesn't have the
Thoughtseize.
Thoughtseize, and it is legendary.
That was
Wrong
close.
land.
That was close.
I mean, at this point I feel good. I think it just took a really bad turn. Let's see what happens.
I'm expecting a stomp.
Expecting
Fatal
a
push.
stomp.
Okay.
Very happy with that. Means they're not going to blood token fatal push my
Greasefang
cat.
or whatever.
Yeah.
It's not looking too bad. Oh, in moments before disaster, Thoughtseize take
Before
out the Sky
disaster.
Sovereign.
Yeah. I don't think that happened. I'm interested to see, actually, because I feel looking at this, I feel very favored.
Yeah. No, I agree. And you've chosen some very interesting lines here.
Well, I've committed to this turn 5 Sky Sovereign very hard. Let's see if it works out.
You could have committed harder by keeping the second one.
This is true. If I didn't draw the cat, I probably would have kept it.
Yeah, just have something to definitely crew. And there's a Trespasser. Okay, so obviously considering a Greasefang because you tossed the Sky Sovereign. And there's the Pyhelion feeling very clunky.
The Parhelion in this state, no, it's not clunky at all because you get to discard it to the.
Right, it's to the Trespasser. That's
Yeah.
pretty sweet.
And they didn't. Their turn 3 was pretty weak, so I'm assuming they don't have another Trespasser, but I think they do.
So Zene asked something interesting in chat. As the Rakdos player sat out Thoughtseize, it hardly ever feels good.
Yeah, that would wreck me. That's what wrecked me.
Sorry,
I
I
knew
think I
something
just
wrecked me
broke
because
some
I was looking
lines.
so good until that, right?
Okay, so go
And I think
blank.
I think I just draw lands for the rest of the game.
Go blank just meaning this entire everything you work towards is suddenly for
Yeah.
nothing. You're just literally sitting
One of
back.
go blank. One of go blank. Yes. Against Greasefang, Thoughtseize can be okay. It's generally not so great. On the play, it's very good because you can take out a Shepherd Sanctuary, or you can take out something like that. Duress, terrible. Do not bring Duress into against Greasefang. Please do that.
Greasefangs sometimes run Duress mainboard too, which is kind of fun. What do you feel about Duress mainboard? Is it something you've done away with?
It's a meta thing. I don't like it main board.
God, that's a painful draw.
Yeah. I just draw nothing for the rest of the game. But that go, yeah. So the go blank wrecked me. Nicely played, opponent.
Yeah, Lennox, that was a really cool sideboard there. The go blank, perfect situation.
I mean, you can see at this point, if I draw anything other than that, I'm like
Yeah,
so golden.
yeah.
And we just got completely flooded.
Oh,
There, eight land.
unfortunate.
But if you see, so if that can't stay away was anything other than that, it was probably fine.
Yeah, look,
Can't stay away just being really awful in the matchup.
you were
Could
saying
have been
that
sided
we
out.
shouldn't watch that match, but I'm actually really glad we did because you took some excellent lines, and it really came down to go blank in that second game. That
Yeah,
really
go
just
blank.
stole the game.
Well done.
Okay.
That would have actually, yeah, geez, it's actually, looking at it, I didn't actually feel as far ahead, but rewatching it, I was, apart from the go blank here, I was just miles ahead.
Exactly. That's
It
why I'm
felt
really
really
glad
good.
we did watch it.
Mm.
So this one, oh, we get to see Teferi doing things. I think
It's a semi-final.
it's quarter still.
Still got it. Yes, Thoughtseize against Greasefang is very good on the play, not so good on the draw.
Rakdos midrange staying second player still. Okay. Alrighty, so we got Azorius control versus Rakdos midrange. What do you think about this matchup in general? I would have thought Rakdos midrange is pretty favored.
The Azorius player is actually quite favored.
Oh really? Is that because
but
of
it's a very
farewell?
it's a very skillful matchup, a skill-based matchup. Because of funny enough, it's because of Sensor.
Okay, interesting.
The Rakdos player. So if you look at a Rakdos list, it is basically all 3-drops. And Sensor allows you to make them play that 3-drop on turn 4, which then gives you time to respond to it with your other counters, with your absorbs and whatnot. Yeah, I would. Yeah. And then you get to. This is. I don't know if I would have tossed away that portable hole.
We've had a bunch of really strange plays here. We had the Thoughtseize going for Sensor, which I suspect is, as you said, because it's slowing down the game a lot.
Yeah.
Then we had Croxer, which led to
I'm assuming he
portable
drew.
hole.
I'm assuming he drew that Harvester. You don't play Croxer before Harvester.
That's true, yeah. And then Thoughtseize here. I guess maybe you want to just do a lot of hand hates, but geez, the blue-white deck seeming like it's in a really bad place here. Zune saying I really disagree. The matchup is really good for Rakdos. Well, that was my kind of inclination, but I haven't played it, and looking at this, yeah, it's
not difficult for the blue-white control deck to keep up with you threat after threat. And then you get to land Teferi, and it's quite over from there. Just the fact of the portable holes being able to deal with the early harvesters is big.
Yeah, and Croxer, that game as well, just gets put on.
Never found Croxer to be an issue at all.
I do like that there's that answer. Oh, here's the blue land. So now all things are go. Shame is can't feel good to have just passed that turn 4 from the Rakdos side. We really wanted to push that advantage, but also not really walk into. I think it's a known counterspell at that stage. I think that she had saw it coming. Okay, so just looting away that blood token.
So there was quite a long discussion actually where we had, and it was about discussion about Pioneer, which these decks are basically mirrored in Pioneer, where we had with Gabriel Nassif
Mm-hmm.
and a few of the other team of that team, and basically it was discussed of how um, Rakdos, the blue white, if you built it, I don't think that's a counter. Like that counter is awful, like really bad, like really
So
bad.
talk me through that. What would you have rather done there? Just play Wandering Emperor, go for a token, and attack
I would,
Liliana?
I would have just drawn,
Okay.
just draw two,
Hmm.
because now he's lost his mana, he's lost his land drop. He could have land drop. He at this point he plays his land that he fetches that he gets with Deluge. He exiles the Bloodtithe Harvester.
Yeah.
And then he holds up another Dispute and another Deluge and Wandering Emperor,
Right.
and then you're so far ahead
Yeah.
because your Wandering Emperor then makes a token which then attacks Lily, and the Portable Hole exiles it.
Yeah. Was there any consideration on the last turn to have just gone like Memory Deluge, try to hit a white land to Portable Hole in the same turn on main phase?
I I I mean, yeah, there's definitely with the hand that you've got, I would have done that because you don't have interaction.
Mm.
Um,
And this making a samurai instead of going for the exile gain some life,
I would
but
have exile
opening
gained some
yourself up.
life.
Yeah, you've opened yourself up
It's,
to removal. You turn the removal
yeah,
cards into live spells
well,
again.
regardless, if you exile this, you got Portable Hole for the other threat, and then they've got nothing. They've got an empty board.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the thing, blue white. If you well, let me look at my blue white because I played blue white until Mythic before this. Let's take a look at my.
So Zeno is saying 8 discard spells is a lot, and your threats are too multifaceted. While I was on Reduke Stream, and he feels like it's hopeless for control.
I think you guys played better than this. I think if you play correctly, it's fine,
Oof.
100% fine. My blue white matchup.
So there we have the main phase Memory Deluge hitting a tapped white-blue source, and another Wandering Emperor not taking the sweeper. Tin Street in chat saying I hated this game. Yeah, this feels like you're taking all the right lands here, and you're putting so much pressure on them, and they're making you misplays.
Your opponent. The thing about blue white control against Rakdos is it's skill based. The mess up that they did on that turn, on the Lily turn, has set them up to lose this entire game, unfortunately, and that's what it does. Rakdos, once you fall behind, it's not going to let you back up.
It's an interesting one. You're not going for the Wandering Emperor, but I do like the hearse being able to pick up that deluge. It's a mainboard hearse. Very interesting tech. Both
I'm
of
not
you.
playing one. A lot of the lists are playing one main board first.
Nice. Do you want to answer the Portable Hole here, or more scared of these harvesters?
Concede the game at this point.
Really?
Yeah.
So we're getting Portable Hole and then probably just Wandering Emperor, Exile, gain a bit of life. Like, I don't think this is over, but it's not looking good.
Problem is, right? Is they're gonna attack you? Is you don't have an answer for the man land at this point.
That's true.
Um,
I think missing a land, though, to start getting aggressive with it. But if that does happen, then things are looking good. Oh, there's the land. You got the Wandering Emperor, though, I guess. Oh, okay, Fable. So this gives some more threats, I guess, coming out.
Fable a lot, yeah.
Also
You're just growing
representing
your
Croxa soon, I guess.
yeah. You're just growing your hearse as well.
Oh no, the hearse is coming in.
I don't know why that happened. I don't think they swing with the hearse. They do.
Okay. Yeah, so it's bad news time because now the Wandering Emperor is going to come down and exile the hearse.
Yeah. So what you do here, right, is you've set up yourself to have a Fable and a Blood Tithe Harvester. I think
Mm-hmm.
you just ride that because the Fable is then going to exile Blood Tithe Harvester. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to copy the Blood Tithe Harvester, and that's just going to remove anything they ever play.
Yeah.
I don't think you swing in there.
So I guess he's saying bye to Wandering Emperor. Yeah, just getting a Samurai.
Mm,
Getting late game Sensor. Fable
swings
going
you down to
off.
four.
Just
Swings you down to 4 here, and you probably have to block as well, right?
yeah. Okay, so that's what's happening. I guess you could also like hope that the Crocs is just gonna bolt a bit later.
Otherwise, if you swing down to 4, Croxer puts you to 1. If you got that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so not swinging in with the Gobbo.
I don't see why not.
Um,
You trading it off for that is really good.
I guess one consideration is that you've got this Fable that's about to become Kiki-Jiki. Oh wow! After taking the damage, cycle get the Fateful Absence. That's interesting. Um, but you want to be able to copy something, and you can't copy the Hive when there was still a Hive.
Mm.
So maybe in that sense, you want to just keep that Shaman around for Kiki-Jiki to make expendable stuff. Hey, there's a
But then
hole.
by that token, you don't attack previously with the Blood Tithe Harvester, surely.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
If that's the game plan, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree. It's kind of flipping between different modes, I suppose. And you can see here the blue-eyed player here, like, no, really, I want to trade.
Yeah, exactly.
Take my
It's good for
samurai.
him. Yeah.
Untapping that hole, sending a message.
No, Blue White's plenty. Blue White's got loads of game against Rakdos. Um, if you build it properly, you need a lot of Field of Ruin, so. And I think a lot of them do play specifically for that reason. A lot of them are playing up to like
Wait,
3 at the moment.
okay. I forgot that Kiki-Jiki just transformed, and I was like, is this lethal? Just out of the blue. Also, like, we can see payoff here for not having attacked the previous turn. Gotta just stomp, and now you have a creature threat. Tin Street saying I just wanted it to be over at this point. You're doing great.
What, as the Rakdos player?
Yeah,
I don't know why.
yeah.
You should be feeling
I
good.
think this is going really well.
Yeah.
I mean, there is.
You got your opponent on 2 life.
Look at this! Look at this! Look at this! There's a hole, but that's not enough. Ah, oh, draws the third Wandering Emperor. That could maybe be enough. Going for a main phase Wandering Emperor just to exile the Goblin Shaman.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. And then what? You're just hoping that
You want to let him have a target for it, right?
yeah,
It's not targetable next turn once it untaps, and
that's
then you
true.
can copy
Yeah.
it.
Um,
And then you are dead to a stump at that point.
you're still dead to a stomp, but
Um,
sorry, the video can't show it too well. But you're on 4. The
okay, sure.
Kiki-Jiki can attack. I want to see a Bone Crusher off the top.
A blood token cycle.
Looks like it's going to be Croxer.
Is there enough for Croxer?
Must be. This game has been on for a while now.
Nice. Croxer, he has to discard the
No, he's going to
Behold
cycle, I think, first.
to try find something other than Behold to discard.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Supreme.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably don't want to discard that. Yeah. Damn. Down to 2 again. And of the fourth Wandering Emperor.
Wow.
Jeez. Needed life gain? There's life gain.
I think you I think you exile that. I think you play the Wandering Emperor and you exile that.
Oh right, yeah, just to
To
buffer a
not die
bit
to
more,
stomp.
yeah. I am gonna love this if 10th Street draws a stomp here. That would be delicious.
That'd be justice. Torti's Croctor also.
That would be sweet. Okay, we see something happening in the graveyard. Is this Return of the Croxer? It's Return of the Croxer. I really like this, because you can't... Okay, Deluge, I forgot about Deluge, sure. Oh no!
Ults next turn.
Look at that march. Zine saying really preying on his downfall here.
Plus the Teferi.
Yeah, this is very not good.
Plus Wandering Emperor actually. Alt Teferi, play Teferi, draw. Game.
I suppose, yeah, I do not like, but it is probably a fairly safe thing to do. But then I think if you do that, you probably want to march.
You put yourself dead to Swamp. You put yourself dead to Bone Crusher anyway.
Yeah.
For the whole game, right?
Yeah. What it feels like. That's why I'm like, I wouldn't toss the Wandering Emperor. I would have just gone for that out earlier, just to try to buffer the life total a bit.
Yeah.
Like if you drew another march anyway. So here, surely it must be like March, Croxer, Alt, Teferi.
Crazy, you're still dead to fucking Bone Crusher.
Yeah. Very, very close to having lethal, but not actually. Oh, there we go. Not dead to Bone Crush anymore.
There you go, yeah.
Okay, we've gone to Fairy to exile the Croxer instead of lands.
Yeah. Blue-white has this.
Yeah.
Even though, like, that just shows you, even with those mid-game, what we think of play errors, they might not be, what those mid-game different directions that we think you could have got to the late game a lot quicker, it just shows you how much game blue-white has.
Yeah, definitely. 10th Street saying thanks, Dene. Yeah, that was really unfortunate, 10th Street. There was no justice.
Dream Trawler being very good in this matchup, however, you need to protect it against the Lily.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
Which you can often do with Shark Typhoon or Wandering Emperor and stuff like that. It's just something to look out for.
I see one of Farewell mainboard, one of sideboard, but it seems like that one has just been trimmed. So now there's 2. I would have thought that's a really good card because it deals with the enchantments.
If you're not bringing in Devout Decree in this matchup, what are you bringing it in against?
Oh, of course, Devout Decree. Oh, but it's not coming in. What? But
I mean, surely it does, right? If you're not bringing it, there's no other matchup that you're going to bring it in for.
It has to.
And why you taking out portable holes?
Portable feels really good here.
Yeah.
What do you feel about Sunset Revelry?
That's
confused.
Been a
choice. Okay, we're just.
I am so confused. They've taken out all of their early removal. So are they just dead to a Bloodtithe Harvester?
There's a bit of removal other than that, but yeah, it's.
There's no efficient. You're tapping out then, and then they're just going to land a Planeswalker, right?
Oh, there we go. We've got a Fateful Absence. We're not going to die to a Bloodtithe Harvester. We're good.
You Fateful Absence, right? And then you're dead to the Planeswalker. No, this is I can't get. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I can't get behind sideboarding, not sideboarding in Devout Decree if you've got it.
Yeah, I guess one does wonder why Devout Decree is there if it's not being brought in for the Rakdos matchup. There's Yell Croxer.
Unfortunately, that's not a Bloodtithe Harvester.
Yeah. Would really have liked that early pressure.
Do not pass a land here.
I'm not sure about passing land. Yeah. That's an
rewarded. Luckily,
just picks up another Field of Ruin. Yeah. Okay.
Play castle here, untapped.
I would have thought so to represent a sensor.
Yeah. Because now you have to take the damage.
Yeah, okay. The damage has gone through.
Cool.
There's a hearse. Okay.
Would not have kept that in.
It can be easy to miss that, and it had some use.
The thing is, he started out his portable holes, but like, so it
Oh,
becomes
so
quite, it
it has
becomes good.
actually, yeah, this is actually a pretty
Yeah,
good cut. But that
yeah,
sensor being picked up, and as you said, the Rakdos deck is mostly 3 drops, and we're missing a
yeah.
land. This is going to be painful.
And he's got the finisher already lined up with Dreamtrawler.
Yeah. Wow, that was a very interesting. There's the sensor. Very interesting sideboard choice, and discard choice, but just completely rewarded. The
Not
deck's just
punished.
working fine. Yeah,
Just not punished, right?
that's the
Like
one.
a land on the other side, into a turn 2 Blood Tile
Oh,
Harvest, and that's completely
like we're
different.
kind of stuck
Yeah,
here, but then we drop a hole, the multiverse to just completely
yeah,
golden.
yeah. But I think that okay, they had technical difficulties between games. Apparently, I've got to think that Kendra was a little bit on tilt
Yeah,
at this point.
I, I would be
You
too.
you behold 100% here, right?
You have to.
Because
Oh,
you Dark Typhoon
okay.
turn 5 in order to protect the thing on turn 6.
Yeah, I agree with that. And you're also just presenting a target for Rakdos player to use their mana on. Like a
And
stomp here.
draw two rather than one, right?
Yep.
Because you need to make your land
So
drop.
there's the stomp as well. It's kind of worst case scenario, but
Yeah, and now you don't make your land drop, right? Or
nope,
do you?
it's
And you do.
fine. We don't need to
Just,
play like that.
just never punished
Just,
ever.
just be better, okay? Have faith in your deck, and it shall deliver.
I don't understand why you shocked that.
Okay, so we're shocking so that we can represent either absorb or behold.
You represent absorb or behold either way, right?
Yes,
You're
but
now
now
on
we're doing
13
it like
live.
fancily.
You've just put yourself to 13 live.
It's okay. It's not like the Rakdos deck is going to get
Never
to do
punish. It's
anything.
not. It's not like they're ever gonna punish. It's unfortunate. Just gets absorbed, and he's probably gonna draw a land, right, and just play
The Dream Trawler,
Dreamcaller,
and
and the
it won't
opponent's
be a
not gonna
Lily.
have won't have Lily. Yeah, no punish on the. Because now the thing is, right, having playing the shark on 5 to protect it against the Lily. I didn't draw. It.
So
Protects it, at least it doesn't get bone crushed.
here, don't you go behold?
100%.
Okay.
Make your land drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He didn't. Okay.
Yeah. We don't need to here.
Cool. I don't know what anymore.
Okay, so this is a Bone Crusher with an extra mana up to survive a sensor. I mean, this hearse.
You behold now.
This hearse is getting in here, I think, so they don't want to behold. They're now wanting to target the hearse.
I think you still behold. How you win this match is with Dreamtrawler.
Winning is overrated when you
This is
can
true.
crush the very soul of the people you're playing against.
Same. Poor Kendra.
Okay, so saying goodbye to the hearse. This is the second game where the hearse has been Wandering Emperor. Like you think that vehicles are pretty good against these decks with sweepers, and just Wandering Emperor saying no every time. You draw double Sunset Revelry, and somehow,
It
despite
works.
paying so much
It's
pain,
perfect. It's perfect on each point, right? So when they play it, they're one card under, one creature over, 2 life under.
Yep.
It's like just on each side of everything perfect.
I don't like this tap though, because
No,
now you're not
you
representing absorb.
tap the field.
Okay, so we did get the land eventually, and we can buff it 1/1 token. That's pretty cute. Is this a fatal push maybe?
Fatal push should have been
It's a
sided
fatal
out,
push.
right?
Yeah, I was. That's why I was surprised.
Okay.
Like I guess it's gonna take out the Samurai and Shark tokens, but I don't know if that's
No, that's
something we're
Fiddlefish
interested
is
in.
the first card you side out.
Hmm. The graveyard's getting pretty chock full now. I'd imagine Crocs might even.
Crocs is not an issue in this matchup.
Look, I don't think it's an issue. It's something that I can see on the field, and I want to be like, yeah, that's something
For
we
sure,
should be
for
aware
sure, for
could
sure.
happen.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like him tapping out for Crocs is like, yeah, I'll go for it.
Hmm.
Or them tapping out, sorry, again.
It's your card. The Go Blank being played
I
in
love
both
it.
quarterfinals.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really sweet card to bring into this matchup. I feel that's really sweet sideboard tech.
Yeah.
Okay, one thing I'm not sure about this is going face with the Bone Crusher.
Yeah, you make them block so that they have to block, and then you can edict, right? Oh my god. Never punish,
I
right?
hear Wandering Emperor is pretty good. And now we've got the 1/1 tokens that Liliana doesn't kill the Dream Trawler,
Yeah, and you got the 2/2 as well from the night.
and then Teferi to start chugging cards.
Yeah, that's the game. They can't beat if they can't kill the Dream Trawler at this point. It's already game. So this is how I used to always beat Rakdos, is with Dream Trawler.
Hmm.
So I would set up the whole game plan. So this is what I was talking about earlier. When to not stress about matches, I have like board states that I'm playing towards, and the whole board state is, and this is why Portable Hole and Devaticry would be so important early. Is like control early game as best you can, everything to control early game, and then all that you're trying to do is play a Wandering Emperor or a Shark Typhoon to be able to protect a Dream Trawler, because then you win the game. They can't beat Rakdos can't beat Dream Trawler.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I suppose none of the Pioneer versions run an Invoke Despair.
So even that, it's you got creatures to sack.
Yeah,
so the card that
you play around it, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're playing around it anyway because Lily, right?
Yeah, in any kind of sack.
Yeah.
Multiple sack effects. Yeah.
So the one card that I did got once was Soul Shatter.
Oh,
the one
that's
that edicts for the most expensive.
Yeah.
But you don't see that very often.
I did see that come in as tech a few months ago, but I thought that was for something else, not for Dream Trawler.
I mean, it's generally for Teferi, but it hits the Dream Trawler by coincidentally. I don't ever tap out here. I just don't.
Yeah,
there's no point.
You've basically
you don't need to do anything. Yeah.
Okay.
You got memory daily. You got so much. It's like,
well, I guess you've got your insurance now as well, that you have something else to threaten and.
Yeah. So yeah, when I was looking at, there was people were discussing. Zune was discussing the blue-white control. So I was 12-3 against blue-white control with blue-white control against Rakdos, but that's only because I had 2 Dream Trawlers main and one side, and I would just every game just lean on the Dream Trawler plan. And it worked every game.
I must say,
except the one time I got Soul Shattered.
Azorius control is not something that I've really played much, and it's something that I feel like I really should, because I get the lines, and it looks like it does have these very polarized matchups.
In a way, it's been having Portable Holes now and March now. You're not so dead to hyper aggro as you were previously.
Ooh, another Croxer. Yeah, March has been such a good card.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest matchup that it's affected is yours, right?
Yeah.
The Blue Spirits.
Yeah. And that makes it pretty miserable. But yeah, that went from very blue spirits favored to pretty unfavored very, very fast with some of the additions.
Yeah. Having just Portable Hole and being able to just Portable Hole the enchantment when you know they've got a rattle chains is just you see them protecting getting rattle chains going. And that's like one of the things is if you play it correctly. So blue-white control, if you play it incorrectly, is gonna just feel awful. I never played that land. It's just gonna feel awful.
It's Shark Typhoon. What are
Yeah,
you
it's auto.
feeling about playing that Shark Typhoon out?
I don't tap out it. I don't play anything at this point. I wouldn't have even played the Teferi. Just play Memory Deluge in their turn. I think he's just playing cards at this point. And to be honest, he can.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, and that's Tin Streets had enough. Shame. That was a rough match.
Long to get that third land, and they got censored.
Yeah, the long waits and then into counter spells and the control player just going completely unpunished and unchallenged for far too long. Yeah.
I mean, decide out. I don't understand. Decide out your portable hold. The biggest target for portable hold is actually undiscussed yet. It's the Goblin token. You can't let the Goblin token resolve. You cannot let it attack against you if you blue white. Letting them double spell on turn 4 is just it's just not an option.
Yeah, yeah. So we are actually going to jump into the finals now. We didn't get any recordings for the semi-finals.
Yeah, I think they struggled to get it going.
Yeah, I believe there was a problem with recording it. And yet again, the second player is still Rakdos Midrange.
I'm surprised they aren't both by now.
Yeah, so final is the Azorius control that we just watched against Rakdos Midrange. Yeah, let's have a look at how the final match went. And just a reminder, I guess, these players are playing for... first place gets 700 Rand cash, 4 new Capenna set boosters, and a borderless foil Shardless agent, whereas second place gets 300 Rand cash, 4 new Capenna set boosters, and a borderless Shardless agent.
Very nice.
That's what I could do with a very medium budget. I made a big loss for this event, but I thought it'd be fun.
This is this is a great hand from the Azorius control player.
Yeah, it looks nice. I'm a big fan of Castle and Igunja giving that white mono representing Veto and Censor.
You are hoping to draw a Memory Deluge at some point, though. You'd love to be able to use the Censor to cycle. So.
Ooh, turn on Thoughtseize. Spicy.
This is where Thoughtseize. So Zune was saying earlier how the Thoughtseize really helps. Thoughtseize in this case does nothing. It gives you information, but you're gonna counter anyway. They drew the portable hole to answer the oh no, not like this. Why do you do this?
Yeah, that's
Guys, don't keep one-landers in finals, please.
I've had to do this before, but it's after like 2 or 3 mulligans and...
Yeah, that was a 7 card.
Gods. I've been there, it sucks to be in a final and to not have your lands.
Yeah, so this is a foregone conclusion.
I don't know, we could believe.
They drew a playable card.
No, that's a scoop. No. Wow. Okay. I must say, going into a final match, I wasn't expecting a game that lasted, let me just check, 2 minutes. Zune saying I pulled 2 triumphs out of 4 packs. It was 6. I didn't want to go to 5. Okay, so there's a mulligan involved. I can understand that. It feels awful when you're there playing it on these finals, but it happens. So what are some of the changes that we're seeing? We're seeing the Devout Decrees coming in. You'll be happy to know.
Portable Hole still comes out.
Oh yeah, we don't need those. We have
it's like
Devout
the
Decree.
Goblin. It's like Fable doesn't exist.
What's a Fable? We have Devout Decree for that.
What's a Goblin token? It's a Goblin Shaman token anyway. No one can afford that. No one can afford that token.
No, it's just still like $25 or something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And it doesn't exist. You can't even find them, so price is like outdated everywhere because no one's updated it.
A friend of mine actually drew his own, which looks amazing.
I printed mine. I just printed mine.
Yeah.
I found some cool, because there's a lot of people on Twitter that do really cool proxy stuff.
Yeah, I followed a bunch of them too.
Printed one of the really cool proxy people's things. I'm not sure I like trimming the veto in this matchup.
I think,
Like Fable is such a big deal.
yeah, I think Veto is really good here. Turn on Thoughtseize. Okay. You can see if you come into our chat and you say Turn 1 Thoughtseize is good against blue-white control. Now you've done it twice,
I
let's see how it
I
goes.
don't even think that's great. Like you're gonna just bait yourself because you're
I,
like, okay, I can go wide. He's got no counter
I do
spells.
like the
Okay,
information, but yeah, now there's been a massive curveball with that Supreme Verdict drawn.
right. Kantos is the top of the deck.
Thoughtseize bug.
He's never been punished. Never gets the turn to harvester. Whenever I'm playing blue eye control, they play turn to harvester every time. Yeah, I
Must be
think
nice to be lucky.
I like tossing shock typhoon here
I think so too. Yeah.
because
We
because
throw
of
away
because
the hidden information.
because of known information, right?
Yeah.
Let them go wide, let them overextend, knowing that they've got rid of all your counter spells.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Graveyard Trespasser.
That's like the horrible card to see.
Yeah. Such an efficient threat.
Works nicely. March here works nicely with the revelry because you can march, toss,
Oh, I see. Just
the
purposefully
emperor,
toss a
and
whole
then
bunch of cards and fuel them back
yeah,
with Sunset. Yeah.
yeah.
But you can't
No, you
quite.
have to hold up. You have to hold up counter spell at this point.
Yeah.
And end of turn, if he does nothing, you march it.
And that is an interesting play that you've suggested. So you can push it. You can't quite push it high enough, but it's a really interesting one.
I like the shock to jump here. Actually,
I don't know
no,
now.
I don't.
Toss.
I want to march toss emperor or emperor toss march.
I don't know. I want to see what opponent does here. I might want to saw it coming, and then
Yeah, well, that's why you're holding it up.
maybe just make a baby shark to go with casting the Wandering Emperor. Okay, so opponent playing around center.
So this is what I was talking about earlier. Passing that verdict, right?
Yeah. That would have been a nice one to just let resolve go. Verdicts answer both
Yeah.
things cleanly.
Yeah. Because they're gonna do exactly what they did, whereas overextend because they've seen your hand, everything except the verdict. You bait them into the verdict. I don't know about this. I'm tossing Shock Typhoon 100%.
Yeah, okay, I'm with you there.
Okay.
Shouldered. Unexpected shouldered. We drew a Dovin's Veto, so clearly they weren't all cut.
No, there was just one left. That's the only Dovin's Veto.
Okay, so we're responding to the shoulder trigger, discarding Dovin's Veto so that we get big enough to actually exile. But we're still going to lose the life.
Yeah.
No, trigger is already on the stack. Like there wasn't.
Yeah, because you needed to draw the veto.
Yeah.
You didn't have a card to do it. But when
there's the harvest.
When people do play Shieldred against you guys, set upkeep stops. It's very important.
I like this.
Oh, this is so backbreaking for blue white.
Leona, goodbye.
But this is all come from him having to counter that Bone Crusher, right? Rather than verdict.
Yeah, I guess so. Oh, I don't like this. I'm not sure why we're casting this here because there's Liliana on the field.
You can just foretell it and then do it after he's lilied.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't understand any reason to cast. And then he didn't play the land.
Well, you can't because Liliana will
wants to discard.
Fairy.
Yeah. Okay.
So
but if the only reason you do that is to make a land drop.
Because you've kind of cast it now, you've locked yourself into holding the Teferi and hoping
but
you
know what I mean?
land. Yeah. No, I understand.
The only reason you do it then is to make a land. This is awful.
Okay,
this is rough.
I'm assuming whatever Sadness is holding is really good that we want to just go with a minus Lily. Or I guess we get a kill off Wandering Emperor. That's fine. Invoke Despair.
Draw 3, deal 6. Cool.
It's a clock. So I was asking earlier, wondering if Invoke Despair was still in this.
So he actually missed a damage point there, right? Oh, he gets to draw an extra card. No,
Yeah, I guess to draw an extra card with that.
gets to
And
draw
there's
an
a
extra card.
duress just to take when you thought the Teferi was gonna land. No Teferi for you. That's hilarious. I'm not sure about not foretelling the Doomscar with the Lillian play again.
All of these foretolls, all of these cards could have been foretold. You have the advantage of foretelling something against these discards, against the Thoughtseize, against the duresses. Yeah. Okay.
It's interesting, and now, of course, with Liliana fueling that Croxa, we are going to see Croxa actually come into play and represent a pretty big threat here. Zine's saying I play Invoke, but it's mostly for the mirrors. Yeah, I think it's also good to include here because of Dreamtrawler, like we were saying earlier.
Something's incredibly good against blue-white. It's when I was playing blue-white, as I said, a lot of the games were against Rakdos, and I had to. So what I would do, how I won is with Dreamtrawler, but what I forgot to say is I sided in for Leyline of Sanctity because of Invoke Despair.
Yeah.
And Leyline of Sanctity turns off basically everything Lily does as well. So you can't Edict, you can't ulti, you can't do anything. Turns off the Invoke Despairs, which are how they kill your Teferi.
Yeah. Something I was just wondering earlier that I forgot to ask is I noticed there's 2 Memory Deluges in the deck. Is that about right for blue-white control these days?
He's got a Behold as well.
Okay.
So I would play 3 draws.
Okay.
And Behold's actually like there is significance in the Behold Foretell to be able to dodge the hand hit, but then you've got to use it like that.
Badger saying satisfying match. We can see some Rakdos fans in the crowd, or maybe just people who dislike Azorius control.
I don't understand the sentiment.
This looks okay, but you're really gonna have to do a bit of catch up to hit those land drops.
I think this is a Foretell, but
Zune, you fiend! Turn 1 Thoughtseize all 3 games.
I don't think it's such a big deal here.
I think if you take Behold, there's just the potential to not get any land drops.
Yeah, I think you definitely take Behold.
Let's see if that's what happens.
It seems like he's brought in Devout Decree.
I did point it out last game.
Finally, he's got some Devout Decree.
Yeah, it's the first thing he brought in,
he didn't bring in the portable holes.
No, he took out the portable holes, but he put in the Devout Decrees. So he had to do it to him. I hope you're happy.
Never turn to Harvester, huh?
Yeah.
Tossing Faithful Absence on.
And here we go.
If you're not going to draw a land.
Okay, so just passing and suck out that sensor. Deluge.
Okay, now he just needs to draw a land.
Nice.
And he's got hard counter up. Blue white looking good.
I don't know about good, but it's looking okay.
I think they're looking for. I think you really don't want them to cast a spell because I think you really want to use Field of Ruin right now. I think that's fine. Discard
so what modes is it on? Return a creature card and discard. So it's gonna bring back the Croxa. I see we're just going for Hand Hate Central.
So discard the Devout Decree.
I don't know.
No, okay. Don't counter this.
Okay, so now we're gonna have a threat resolve. What is it gonna be? Trespasser maybe?
What? I don't understand.
Fable. Fable's good.
You get to march the token. I don't understand. You don't march the token.
Okay, we're not marching the token, and we are not Devout Decreeing either. Okay, so there's the march going off. Didn't cost us anything really to do it this turn.
Don't you just devout decree there?
Um,
You've got nothing else going for you. No, he's added 2 cards to the bin. Crocs is gonna come back.
so the Devaticry, I don't think it can hit the enchantment.
Oh, is it not permanent? Oh, that's
I
just me.
think it's a red creature or planeswalker, but I stand to be corrected. Let me check very quickly. Okay, I'm not allowed to check.
A minute. This looks pretty good for black red.
Yep.
Goes the last deluge.
Damn, Crocs in the battlefield already. I've been saying this the whole time. Crocs is going to do stuff, and Crocs did some stuff and then got exiled. So Devaticry's exile target creature or planeswalker that's black or red. Scry 1.
Hello?
Hey.
We're losing.
Sorry.
Oh, good. You're back.
Yeah, connection seems a little spotty. But I read out Devaticry is exile a creature or planeswalker that's black or red. Scry 1.
Sure.
So I think it was being held there to try to hit the Kikijiki side, but got discarded before that. It's a lot of hand hate.
Also, Leyline of Sanctity.
Sure, yeah. Sure. Invoke Despair.
Leyline of Sanctity.
And now Kikijiki's just gonna punch.
Yeah, so the sideboard for Azorius against predominantly black-red field, Leyline of Sanctity absolutely hoses them. And Dreamtrawler. So you just bring in 4 Leyline of Sanctity, play to your Dreamtrawler matchup, and you'll win almost all your games.
I'm not sure about just passing with the sensor. I'm not sure what you're looking for though to be able to get out of this.
Fateful Absent, maybe?
I
that's just game.
kind
That's
of
just
like
game.
censoring that Bone Crusher because now it's just gonna kill you.
Yeah, that's just game.
Like,
did they tap out to stomp?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100% censor that
Yeah.
because that's lethal.
Absorb? No absorb. Okay. And you can Iganjo to survive one more turn, but I'm not sure what you're doing after that.
Well done. Black red takes it. I'd assume.
Yeah, not quite yet, I think. I think I got one more turn, but it does look like it.
There is no card in the deck that can draw 2.
Destroy all permanents. Yikes.
Fortunately, Farewell doesn't hit Planeswalkers.
Yeah. And there's the GGs.
Well done.
Well done, Zane. That was really well played.
Yeah, well played. Although, need to get better at drawing those harvesters on turn 2.
Yeah, we did see the Fable come down relatively early,
Yeah,
which is quite
very
nice.
good at drawing Fable. I'll give you that.
Everyone drew so many Fables in this tournament.
Fable is such a good card, man.
Yeah. Badger saying I'm totally not biased or anything, but GG's Zane for letting me see 5 mana to Fairy lose. Seriously though, GG's to all players though. Yep, absolutely. Thank you so much for joining the tournament. Let me just stop round 1. Okay. Thanks everyone for joining both the stream and the tournament if you did. I really appreciate it. We are hoping to make these a regular thing, and we might even start doing something like a weekly standard thing. I don't know if people still play standard, but that's something I'm looking into. Yeah, and I'll let everyone know soon about the next tournaments. I'm not sure if we're going to stick to Explorer or what, but I'll let the group know. If you want to join the Spellslinger Syndicate WhatsApp group, feel free to contact me wherever. You can put a message in chat if you want. I can send you the link. And yeah. Callum, anything from your side? Thank you very much for being with us tonight and for giving excellent commentary on all the matches.
It was fun. Good to see some very good pilots on some very good decks.
Yeah, I think we had a lot of tier 1 decks this time, which was
Mm.
different to
As I said, this sort of attracted a much more competitive meta compared to where people were happy memeing around and having fun in the EGG event.
I mean, I memed around with mono blue, steal all your stuff, and I had a lot of fun.
In the EGG.
Sure.
That's what I mean. The EGG event had a lot more people memeing around and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And this one had people trying to win.
Yeah, some pet decks too, which is also nice to see.
Yeah, that
Particularly people
Landfall
who,
deck.
yeah. I like the synergy there. It's a pity it didn't really work out.
Yeah, it's just a hostile matchup, a hostile environment to bring it into.
Mm. Okay, Zine saying Pauper when? Oh, we can talk about it. If you want the formats quite badly, let us know and we can see what we can do. But I'm not sure if we'll do like one of the larger tournaments as the Pauper events. That might be
What is that?
a more casual.
Artisan.
Artisan's a thing. There's also Pauper.
Is there actual pauper in Arena?
There's it's occasionally it's one of the rotating events. I don't think
Oh,
it's a format that exists in the client itself, but we can certainly do
they
that.
have artisan.
Yeah, yeah. Badger saying great commentary from Callum and Cora as well. Thank you. Appreciate it and appreciate your support.
Zune there with I will continue to play Rakdos until they give me Bring to Light. Um, yes, you and me both. I can't wait for Bring to Light. I just got the set of
The pretty ones.
the pretty ones.
Nice. That's really
Um,
cool.
so keen for that. Also, a couple of cards that we're looking forward to that we still yet to see. Let us know. We're always keen to chat what you guys are looking for with regard to cards coming up and being added to effectively Explorer until it becomes Pioneer.
Yeah, definitely. That is. I'm waiting for Zeta Wayfinder. I don't know if that's
I'm
just a
I'm
naive
I'm
thing.
waiting for Mana Confluence.
Yeah, that's gonna be big. Nixos fans.
You see, and you know me, I play Mono Green and Pioneer. I'm not looking forward to being
All the triggers and everything, especially on Arena.
the triggers aren't the problem. It's you sitting there and you're like, okay, they have all of their devotion and stuff like that. I'm gonna go and make a coffee and come
Mm,
back later and see if they finished the game.
exactly. Yeah. Or sometimes they screw up and lose all the mana.
And this is one of the other frustrating things is watching people, and I'm very self-critical and watching people mess it up as well. I just want to like message them afterwards and try help them and understand, which is terrible because in competitive environments, after like a whole competitive game, I explain to my opponent how exactly to beat me every time. So then when it comes to the next round, then but I can't help it.
I certainly appreciate the last time we played in the finals. After the tournament, just talking about the match was really cool with you. Really appreciated that.
Yeah,
Um,
I get to my own detriment a lot. I know this.
I don't know. It helped a lot to just hear like you also thought I didn't take really bad lines. In
No,
that
for sure.
particular match, that was pretty cool. Badger saying they bring Lingering Souls to Pioneer/Explorer, and I'm installing Arena. Well,
Oh, nice.
that would be
Lingering
cool.
Souls. Is that legal in Pioneer at the moment?
No, it's not. Not currently.
Yeah. So that's not going to happen,
Oh.
unfortunately. And I think they're done bringing in the older cards into Alchemy. What it was.
Yeah.
Alchemy is a weird format right now.
I must say, although I did play it initially, I kind of went off it pretty hard, and I haven't played it in months.
The Arena Championship was Alchemy. It
I
was very weird
saw,
to
I
watch.
watched like a few rounds, and I just
A
decided
lot,
to
lot
get
of
off.
people had the same thing. They just couldn't get into it
Yeah.
because it's like a combo-y format.
Mm. Yeah, no, I was
Um,
also just quite busy at the time. Otherwise, I totally would have watched it. I always enjoy watching different formats.
did you watch the mocks last weekend?
I did not know, just been work and travel. How'd it go?
It was very interesting. They did Modern Cube.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, a more accessible cube for people to get into and something to actually think about. And they said they're going to keep it as a returning format and event for people to do, Modern Cube.
I do like
And
that.
it was Modern Cube and Pioneer.
I do like that, but again, adding more formats. Well, we have a lot.
I mean, on MTGO to have these cycling things like Vintage Cube and Modern Cube and no,
Yeah,
those are cool.
I wish Arena kind of did more with events, but
Yeah, they don't have the biggest pool, but it'll come.
hmm.
It'll come.
Well,
And
even
the
then,
Pioneer side was very interesting though,
mm,
because everyone thought Black Red is going to be is dominating, and it is. everyone thought Mono Green is dominating. It is, and we have Nathan Strayer and his partners both bringing in Phoenix and beating everyone.
Oh, really? Because that was
Yeah.
like the last I heard, that was meant to be the dog deck. You really don't want to play Phoenix no matter what.
Yeah, you don't want Phoenix because Black Red's popular and Black Red plays Go Blank, and Go Blank just beats Phoenix on its own.
And I heard even Mono Green's got some pretty good cards for the Phoenix matchup currently.
100%, 100%. And it just so happens that Nathan Strayer is an absolute god amongst Magic players, and probably the most consistent grinder Magic has ever seen. Actually, we'll be seeing him in the World Champs. He's he's qualified for this World Champs and the next World Champs already.
Jeez, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's.
I'll have to keep an eye out. Thanks for letting me know.
Cool. Cheers, guys. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming, and see you all next for the next Spellslinger Syndicate tournaments, I hope. Bye.